Welcome, SASANs, to this week's episode of SASANs and Dragons, our homebrew house rule infested game of 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. I am your dungeon master, Magnus Beasticus, and as we've been doing for the weeks, for each episode of Season 2 of SASANs and Dragons, we will be giving away a very special item to a very special individual. Alright, say it with me, folks. Who's that giveaway? It's Twizzlers!
Yay!
Twizzlers!
Alright, how do you win the fantastic boxed or tube or tub? It'll probably be a tub of Twizzlers. All you gotta do is like, subscribe if you haven't done so already, share, we can't tell whether or not just shared, but we appreciate it anyway, and leave some feedback on the episode, on this episode that we are providing you. And we will select a very special individual from all of the thousands of people who comment telling us their wonderful thoughts. And we'll send you a wonderful thing of Twizzlers. You can do whatever you want with it after that. Okay, so
Send it to your enemies.
we'll send it to our loved ones.
How big of a tub of Twizzlers?
We're Redvine's house.
Like a
Dad.
bathtub?
I
or
don't
like
know the
or like a
official
tub?
poundage, but like those plastic cylinders with like a bunch in them where you look at it and you go, there's no way I'll ever finish that much.
1.5
They're
pounds.
definitely tubs.
How many pounds?
How many
Yeah,
staples,
we need
Target?
an actual
Yeah, see,
ounce.
we're...
No, look at the actual weight. They need to know how many Twizzlers.
okay.
33 ounces. 33
Ounces?
Three.
How many Twizzler per
105
ounce?
pieces
Per
per
feet, of course.
tub.
It's enough for, a quarter of the year. Or, yeah.
Perfect for those
One
New
a
Year's
day.
resolutioners.
One a day.
You can tie them together and make a necklace.
You could use them as shoelaces
You could
and eat them later.
make a cosplay outfit out of it. Yeah. All right.
Sexy.
We're doing things a little bit different this week, more so than the sort of who's that giveaway. Play the intro, the character backstories. Boop. We gotta wait. I don't want to edit that. I'm just gonna put it over it.
How's your day?
We got 5 minutes in like 12 seconds.
That's how long it is? You're
Yeah.
really gonna wait?
I'm Thunky Beerbot, and don't let my facial hair fool you. I am a female mountain dwarf druid. I come from a long line of beer brewers, hence the name Beerbot. I had a mostly normal upbringing in the mountains of northern Melibrius, and I've always had an affinity towards animals, not so much the ruling races. I have many fond childhood memories of wandering the local forests in search of new furry friends. Eventually, on the advice of my parents, I enrolled in druidic studies and began honing my spellcasting abilities. My instructor, Elder Dalbrook, was a highly logical man and taught me my most important life lesson, that even though nature is beautiful, it cannot exist without chaos. There isn't a day that goes by that I do not repeat that message to myself. I understand that not all beasts can be tamed, and sometimes I will have to battle one. I don't like to admit it, but this happens more often with my new family, Oren's Obliterate. But I will stop at nothing to ensure their safety, and I may cause some chaos in the process.
If you were to gaze upon the mysterious property of Orenbelle's finest artificer, you would find a very large mansion met by a garden with superbly sculpted shrubbery. At any given time, there is but only one worker that can be found on these grounds, and why that is me, Crow. I am one of Master Cumentus's many creations. The majority of my being is made up of organic, plant-like material. The rest is mechanical. There are many duties for which I was created, some of which include cooking, cleaning, obtaining materials and ingredients, assisting with laboratory duties, removing trespassers from the property, acting as the master's personal bodyguard when in town, and closest friend, always. These may be my regular duties, though Master Cumentus mentioned that I am fully loaded with great purpose and grand potential. I have yet to discover the meaning behind those words. Maybe he was referencing the inaccessible areas of my internal systems. Or maybe it is a metaphor for the many journeys he planned for us. Or maybe he was just trying to make me feel better about my self-realized lack of greater purpose in this world. Either way, I seek to discover the true potential of my being.
Hello, I am Varkir Invictari. I am an Aasimar of the clan Invictari at Barathor's Reach. To explain more about myself, I must first explain the world we live in, full of angels and monsters that toy with mortal lives like cheap coins. I sought out to rid us of the need to constantly appease these beings of considerable power. Even if all the world is my enemy, they will thank me when the work is done, for I believe in the strength of my fellow mortal. We have turned the tides of battle with nothing but one act that has spiraled out to a glory that is yet to be rivaled in this day and age. Kalinor, my right hand, my sword and shield. Otero, my left, my bow. All the others were dear to me, just as my mother and father. The angel that speaks to me in my dreams warns me of the dangers of what I do. But I know my path is virtuous, though I cannot say the same for the company I now find myself with. They may represent the truest of dangers, or the brightest of futures. Time will tell.
My name is Herchek Bane. I am from the clan the Frenzied Bear, whose home is at the northeastern part of the Shattered Peaks. Growing up, I was split between two tribes, fighting over the land we both tried to call our own. My tribe's battle mentality was of pure carnage during warring, praising an unknown entity that I personally detested. My father, Urkhelm Bane, was fourth in line to be chieftain, known in the tribe to be a fierce warrior on the battlefield, and to have saved many lives in combat over the ages. He has but one mighty secret, which is where I come in. Born from a forbidden love with a mighty warrior woman from the clan the Roaring Tempest, my tribe's rivals. My mother, Rakir Stormwill, the Roaring Tempest. She was a brutal warrior on the battlefield and a kind priestess to those in need. Her deity, Regentia, as a weapon as well as her shield, is the goddess I now follow. After years of secrecy, I could no longer hold back my rage. During a battle with a fellow clansman, I unleashed my storm-bound fury. Luckily, through the deeds of my father and the tribe, I was not sentenced to death on the spot. I was, though, cast out from my clan, exiled, never to return or show my face around them. My title in the clan removed from me. One day I will return to my homeland and take over my clan to show them that there can be peace amongst all tribes. Unity is what I seek for the Goliath race, and I will achieve that goal, even if it takes my life.
When last we left our heroes of Oren's Obliterate, they had found a large black ship underneath Orenbelle, in caverns seeming to have been forgotten to time. Upon investigating this black ship, Crow had found a message left to him by his old master Cumentus, telling him that this was something in which they could use in their fight to come against the angels. But it needed a power source, one in which they would find in the water city of Aquiago. Upon deciding to investigate this ruin-dense, just massive cavern expanse, they had heard a blood-curdling shriek emanate from deep within the cavern. This is where we pick up now, as the guards around them are in a flurry of activity. Any sort of living creature has been disturbed underneath here, mostly being represented by a huge flocks of bats leaving from about a mile distant down these caverns. All right, what do you guys choose to do on the deck of the black ship? This noise having this screech having released itself into the aether. You notice that there is no natural light in this cavern. The thing that the one of the main reasons why you can see as much as you can right now, because the lights from the mechanisms and the magic holding the ship in place are just illuminating like the immediate area around you. But for the most part, you can't see more than like 120 feet out into the cavern, and it sounded like this noise was came from deep from within the cavern, like pretty far away.
Is it
and
nighttime?
you're in a cavern, so like there's moonlight coming down from the opening, but it's not shedding light around the entire cavern. Even nobody has good enough dark vision to be able to peer and sort of see the cavern clearly. At this moment, though, you.
No, sorry, continue.
You
It's okay. I can ask after you're done.
Okay. At this moment, you hear sort of like the screech turns into this low rumble, and you can see some of the ruins, the stone ruins in front of you. Like some of them just crumble and fall, and you see deep in the cavern these two glowing blue orbs sort of like rise up and start illuminating some of the area around it. And you see this.
I'd like to stealth.
Okay, roll for stealth. You can tell that these eyes are about a mile away, and it's rising up in this really lanky humanoid form with almost like a priest's garb over it. Varkir, you feel this searing, deep pain in your oblique, just almost as though like a dagger had been inserted into your oblique. And Thunky, you start to get berated by these whispers. You look at the blue orbs, and it's almost like they look directly into you, and they're not purposefully sending a message. It's almost like on autopilot. Like these words just flow into your mind. I just sent them for you. And he says these series of words over and over again, or as well as just certain portions of them randomly. And you can tell, or not you can tell, as this giant form rises, it's maybe like 15 stories tall. It's carrying one of those chained sort of holy smoke orbs. I don't really know what those are called. In its arm, and Bobby runs to the edge and he goes, "It's a prime shade! There's been one underneath us this whole time!" And he points over to one of the. You see a woman from the Celestial Order, and he goes, "Quickly, heal them! We need everybody we can get!" And he jumps off, and a basilisk actually flies down, and he grabs onto it, and three others, the only other three mounted people that were with him that came down here, jump onto theirs as well, and they start sort of like soaring after it. What do you guys want to do right now?
They're soaring after the prime shade?
They're like, we need to do something because this is directly underneath Orenbelle.
Is there a...
Who's healing who?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So one of the sort of clerics of the Celestial Orders comes over, and she moves her fingers. She looks at all of you, and she sort of like taps each one of your chests, and you each are healed 20 points. That's about it.
Do I notice the stabbing? Yeah.
It's make a wisdom saving throw.
I thought you
I
were
also
talking to
rolled
me.
a
I was like, oh,
21
we're starting off this
on
game
stealth.
right.
Do I make a wisdom as well?
No, just Varkir.
21 on my stealth check.
12.
21. Okay. 12. Yeah, Varkir like buckles over, and his face is in this almost like absent-minded state of pain, of almost like he's in a deep reflection. This feeling is very familiar to you, yet foreign at the same time. Yeah, that's the best way.
Do
to
I
describe it.
see
Drunk off
whatever
wine.
stabbed him?
No, nothing nothing did. You didn't see anything. You just see Varkir sort of like go down onto his knees.
Can I try and... I don't know. pick up sense, whatever it is.
Just like a
Roll
constitution
a-
saving throw that I failed. That like the.
So this would like send you on high alert. By the way, which you're just like underneath the ducking underneath the ledge or the edge of the ship because you're stealthed right now. You're just like pressed up against, and then Varkir sort of kneels down, and you see this intense moment of pain across his face with no visible disturbance around him.
Yeah, can I roll some kind of perception check to see if I detect whatever is stabbing him?
Yes, yeah, roll.
I would think immediately that there's something in close proximity.
Yeah, no, go roll for it.
What is that?
It's that light bulb. It's like wigging out.
Oh yeah, it is. I need to replace it.
Can we unplug it? This is making that noise.
It's good now.
Weird.
Herchek staring
I was gonna do something.
out. Well, maybe this will influence what you're doing.
6.
6. It's you can even with a 6 you can like you're confused. You're looking around and there is again no sign of disturbance. There's no sort of like you listen. There's no sort of like walking across the deck of anyone invisible. There's no sort of like magical illumination anywhere. He has just almost of his own, seemingly of his own volition, just like gone down into this state. At this time, the priest sort of waves the billowing orb around, and the smoke starts to sort of jump into different areas across this landscape, and you see the smoke actually disappear into the darkness as blue-orbed eyes raise 1, 2, 3, for about 8 humanoid, black, sickeningly black, for all intents and purposes, giant zombies are sort of just like grabbing the ruins and lifting themselves up and crushing ruins beneath their feet. They're in various proximities to the priest, and now there's just this dim blue glow across most of the ruins. Again, there's 8 of them, and it's like, imagine 2 actually rise about 300 feet in front of you, and they start to engage Bobby and his riders.
Just to quickly clarify where we are, I thought that we had already exited the ship and we're like on the, like right below where the ship is located.
No,
Not
you
on the ship.
were about to last time, but then you guys were talking about what you wanted to do next.
We're still on the bow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I would like to jump down, run towards Bobby.
Bobby is like 300 feet off in the distance. As you can still jump down, but you hear the voice come like run up the stairs from beneath the ship behind you, and it's one of the guards, and he says, "I found flyers on the 3rd deck below. They're in a hangar. Come with me." They're just they seem to be operable.
Flyers?
They're submachines. I can't tell, but it looks like they can take the flight.
Okay.
Can
Well,
I go
let's
to
head down
the
there.
crow's nest?
Yeah,
I will go up to the crow's nest.
but that'll take about a few minutes. The crow's nest is like
Is that a
like
mile
100
high?
feet high. Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Fine, I'll get up on top of the little rail on
Yeah.
the bow, and I'm gonna pull out the Starlight Conqueror,
Okay.
and I'm going to start casting the constellation.
What is the distance on that?
300 feet.
Okay, so you're gonna try and take out the first 2 zombies.
I will get closer. Because you said it was all in the vicinity of each other.
The primary threat, the tallest, largest priest-looking figure with these just like almost like black veins curling all up its entirely deceased flesh, is about a mile away.
They're a mile away. Okay, alright, I'm going down to the below then. Going to fire.
Yeah.
But as soon as I get in range within 300 feet of the prime shade,
Mhm.
I'm going to start casting the Rigencha's constellation.
Okay.
Valkyr. I am better on foot.
I'm still up on the floor, so
Would you like to head down? Oh, your horse isn't with us.
I'm still riding on the floor. I thought from the whole.
Yeah, after the stabbing sensation, like that's it. There's this, your heart, it just like has this intense palpitation to it, as it slowly gets control again, and you were just like taken off your like mental state almost entirely, but you slowly regain your composure.
So yeah, but okay. I guess I'm fine then, but no, I don't have my horse, so I'm just.
To the flyers, Mark
Okay.
here.
Herchek runs down and follows the guard, as the guard's just like running quickly through the hallways, turning left, then down another flight of stairs, then turning right, then down another flight of stairs, and then
I'm making mental
through
notes of every single
through
room.
these bulkheads. You see on the other side, it's actually slightly ajar that you can see outside into the hangar bay. What? You can see slightly into the hangar bay, and you can see 6. For all intents and purposes, just picture motorcycles almost shaped like dragonflies, but the front of them has these rams on it, just these like dense metal forward rams on each of them, and there's no sort of like cockpit or anything. It's literally just like you're getting on this machine dragonfly.
I look at the guard, and be like, I've ridden this before. I get on it and I go.
Okay, you roll an intelligence check.
Sometimes I
like to be
just
moving
want to
with
get on my
him
bike and go.
Oh, I thought you said you were running.
16.
Again, for perspective, it's in between the ship and the priest. It is about a mile. So
Yeah, so I thought they were like 300 feet out, but
They're a mile out, apparently.
yeah, I'm gonna go towards the flyers too.
Okay. At
16.
so flyers. What are you up to?
I would like to get on his flyer.
Okay.
Can it hold 2 people?
Yeah, it can.
Get on your flyer.
16. You see this almost like Tesla-looking coil on the front of each flyer, on near where like you can sort of see where handlebars are, like the fantasy handlebar equivalent, and it doesn't have any immediate power right now. And you look up and you see this similar sort of like collection of Tesla coils in pointing in segmented sort of directions around the bay.
So it's just a bunch of coils?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to take out the hilt then, or the... I always forget what it's called. The thingy dang. You know what I'm talking about? I'm going to take
Red
it out.
Tempest. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to Red Tempest handle, and I'm going to point it right at the coils, and I'm going to let loose some lightning at it. Kind of see if it charges.
This wave of continuous electrical energy connects from the top uppermost coils to all of the 6 dragonflyers in the hangar, and you just start to see the wings slowly.
I just pause to myself like,
And they
genius.
they all from their stationary position sort of lift up in the air and hold this sort of form of stasis, like static stasis for until anybody gets on.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm just gonna wait for them all to gather, and then I'm waiting for them all to gather in the room.
Okay. Both on.
Study this first to see if it has any weapons or anything like that. Or
Roll
it's
investigation
just,
check. Everybody
Yeah,
roll initiative right now.
Okay. Are we in like, is there an open space in front of us where we can try and test the controls?
Yeah.
No. The only door the only sort of like hangar door that you can see is sort of the bottom. It closes with 2 different doors slamming one on top of the other. I don't know. I can't describe this. But it's slightly ajar, so you can see outside into the main hangar that holds Balakin.
Who?
You know, the beautiful. And there's I'm sorry. What'd you roll for your investigation check?
I'd say
Roll an
3.
investigation check
I got a
as well.
3.
What'd you roll for initiative?
What do you mean I didn't roll initiative?
Roll initiative.
Oh, roll initiative.
I rolled a 7 on investigation.
I wonder what that says.
A 7. There's no place to sort of like
That's
test
a-
out
that's a
whatever arsenal this thing may have.
That's 8.
16 for me for initiative.
16.
21.
21. 1. Okay.
Your bike just explodes.
I just didn't even make it on the dragonfly bike.
All right.
Did
You,
I
just
make up
fell
for her
backwards.
1?
I mean, she is riding on his bike.
no. So this is sorry. This is really just to find out the initiative order. You guys are going to go, and then I'm going to take care of everything else. So all of you guys will have your turn, and then each whatever's turn that comes into play will have theirs, just to make this easier. And you guys might be able to coordinate a bit better this way as well. So you can't make heads or tails of what's going on. You actually get on it backwards, and you look in the opposite direction, like, oh, I can see better. There's not as much sort of like bullshit in my way. And then slowly her check sort of like shows you, no, this way. But you still can't, like, there are a few different very analog sort of like levers and certain things on this, but you don't know which one does what. Yeah, you're going to have to start pressing things. You're 6-year-old? Yeah, no place to practice, but you just see that opening by the hangar doors. And you hear this sort of like this series of undead shrieks. Okay, now it's you guys are up. Tell me what you want to do.
I rev it and I go.
Oh, it's just through the door? Through
Are they
the
open?
partially open? No, there's no. They are not open. The hangar doors are still shut.
We need to find a way. There's levers. Look for levers.
Yeah, I'd like to
Look
roll
for yeah.
perception check to look for levers.
Okay, go for
Same.
Levers. Or something. to open up.
Buttons.
Door controls.
10.
21.
it. Okay, you're sort of like you're checking the perimeter around the bulkhead, and as you almost get to it, you hear Crow just run over and grab the largest, most obvious looking lever in the hangar.
That was my second choice, Crow. Good job.
Yeah, and you hear gears just start to like shift, and the door so like, revealing the outside to you.
Sprint
Come on,
back.
let's
Sprint
go.
back to the bike.
All right, you hop on. That's opening the hangar door. You did that. You're on your bike. Yeah, you're getting on your bike. Anything you're doing, Farkir?
Still trying to figure this bike out.
Okay.
I hold an act.
Yes. What's your action?
I would like to hold bolt.
Okay.
Cast it at a prime shade when it's near
Okay.
in range.
All right.
I'm gonna tell them, like, stay away from it at least a good amount. Say about 30 feet. I'm gonna cast something big on it.
You have a tattoo of one of these things, don't you?
We all do.
No.
I think you're the only
I'm
one
the
who has
only
it.
one. No, Funky
Yeah,
has
I
it.
have one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So the-
yeah, because
What
you
is
guys
this?
are.
Your tattoo is like glowing a little bit right now
Is
as
mine
well.
I don't remember
glowing
what it
too?
does
Yeah,
to
both
us.
of yours
Did you like give it to us?
are. I might not have.
No, I don't remember what it does.
Get a prime
For
shade
Home's
tattoo
Mark?
on someone.
No.
Just add +2 to all of your damage
Okay.
until I remember properly.
How did you activate?
+2 to everything.
I have never activated it.
Hey, you guys see on your on the sort of like control deck of the Dragonfly, in the center is this large red button. To the right of that on your handle, just like a motorcycle's gas, is another lever that you can pull in, and then there's one sort of like what. Then there's another lever on the other one. It's like stop, go. is what you
The break.
probably learned. Well, I know, but
Gases.
it's not necessarily the same thing for these. And then there's this very obvious lever on the left side by like what would be the gas tank of a motorcycle that you can pull. And there's so pretty much go stop or go fast, slow down, red button, lever, and then another lever on the right side.
Has red button.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. And you guys, after this, you hear, oh no! Come from the other side of Balakan, where the fight was happening with Bobby and the other.
All right, we're going.
Griffin
I'm
and
taking off.
Basilisk Riders.
I'm getting going.
Okay. Remember, there's initiative here, so
I'm waiting for that.
now
to
you can
happen.
go.
Oh, could I?
Yes. Okay. So what do you remember? You guys are all doing. You guys all have like a turn at the same time, so you can coordinate or go one at a time. You can go about 300 feet in 6 seconds with these dragonflies. So again, it's a mile there. It'll probably take you 4 or 5 turns, and you can dash if you want to get straight to the Prime Shade.
Did you list off any
The
weapons
Priest
for these
Shade.
things? Or is
Nope,
it
I didn't
just-
list off any
You
weapons.
listed off the
Can
big
I-
red button.
Yeah, but can I look for like extra ammo around around or anything like that?
Again, roll another investigation check. This will be your bonus action.
So wait, it's our turn right now.
Yeah.
Can I do a history check
Oh.
on the name Hassan
15?
to see if I remember that?
Yes.
15 for like extra ammo and things like that around.
So you're just looking, yeah. So you can
Like-
see like a 15, especially with your mind. You rolled
Dang.
pathetically low last time, but this time you're sort of piecing it all together.
Pathetically low.
You see the left lever leads to a just like looking at the gears and how everything fits together. It leads to a compartment underneath the dragonfly that may open up. The right lever leads to almost this like rotating like javelin shooter connected to the front that's underneath the ram. And then the red button, you have no idea. It looks like yeah, there's no discerning action that the red button.
So I have like an idea that this thing shoots javelin type things
Yeah.
or something like that. So can I just look around the hangar for javelin type ammo things like around
It's
like
it's fully loaded.
no,
so
no, just be like,
yeah.
oh, well, then I guess.
Yeah.
If it's fully loaded, I guess I'll take off then. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
There's nothing else I can.
Varkir shoots out of the hangar.
I'd like to do the same.
Okay, shoots out. Thunky and were you doing it as well?
Yeah, I was the first one to go.
Oh, sorry. Herchek takes off first. Varkir behind him, and then Crow and Thunky behind, keeping in close line with each other. You see the sort of ruins of one griffin and a rider just completely like shattered on the ground next to the foot of one of these giant zombies. Bobby is taking on one by himself, and the other are trying to take out, or just like coordinating, taking out the other one next to Bobby's.
Is the female barbarian down there?
No, the female barbarian is not down there. You would imagine she's probably not trained in riding, riding griffins or basilisks, just wrestling them. So you guys have 300 feet and your actions.
I got a 20 on my history check.
It seems very, very vaguely familiar to you. How to phrase this?
Is it the same one from before?
It's it's like an honorary. You can't remember if it's an honorary or a religious position in an Aasimar culture.
So as we're flying, I'd like to get relatively close to the ground, try to do some aerial support to help out Bobby and them, just by doing the handle, just like as we're flying to the Prime Shade.
Okay. The way it's going to work is because the dragonflies are highly mobile and these are zombies, when you encounter one at close range, it's going to be a check off. So it's like they're going to roll a d20 and they're going to -2. You're going to roll a d20, add whatever proficiency you normally do, and +2. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so Herchek, you're skirting across the ground, just trying to.
Yeah, I'm like 40 feet. How tall are these zombies?
The zombies that have sort of grown up from this necrotic mush, it almost looks like, they're probably 5 stories high.
But Jesus. All right, yeah, I'm gonna
imagine Titans
Titans
from Attack on Titan.
All right, so I'm gonna be flying probably like 60-ish feet above the, like a taller, or at least 30 feet taller than that.
Okay.
And then when I get closer to them, I'll swoosh down just a little bit and just try to zap them in the face.
Okay, go ahead and roll. Roll to attack. Is this is the one closer to Bobby or the other two? You stick your arm out. Yeah, you stick your arm out and release the electric energy, and it's you're not used to like the proportions and where things are on this yet. And as soon as you stick it out, one of the wings comes up and you zap it. And go ahead and make a just a dexterity saving throw. 3. You can't manage to get control of your flyer, and it starts spinning out of control and impacts on the ground, and you take. Oh, your flyers have 70 health, by the way.
That's a lot of health.
I would like to. Win.
Sorry. Yeah, you take 18 points of damage, and your flyer takes 18 points of damage as well. And it's on the ground. The wings are still flapping. It's stabilized for the most part, but you will now. You instead of 300, you can only move 250 feet because the wings have to compensate.
Okay.
There are 2 of us aboard. Do we get 2 attacks?
Yes, you do.
As soon as we get in line with the closest zombie thing, I'd like to start pressing that left handle thing, and if that doesn't shoot something.
The left lever or the left? Sorry, so there's like
the left lever.
Okay.
And then if that doesn't do anything, spam the red button.
Okay.
As our first attack.
Okay. So you are you going to the one closer to Bobby or to the 2 other guards?
I'll go closer to Bobby.
Okay. As you fly over the creature,
I have a second attack.
The zombie,
prepared.
and you pull the lever, the left lever, the bottom compartment opens up. It's double sort of underneath where you are, and you just hear the series of as paper is just being has just been dumped out from under this
Dump
thing.
the cargo hold?
Yeah, pretty much. And you're pressing the red button. That's going to be your second attack. You can't just one action that this thing does is one of your actions. So pressing that button will be a second attack.
Okay.
Does
Does it matter if, as a Warforged, I get 2 attacks?
What? You get so one attack was which is technically an action. The other attack is pressing the button. That's all.
I'm pleading for 3.
Nope, not gonna happen.
Wait, do I still get an attack?
You do still get an attack,
Okay,
but we're
cool.
getting there. So you press the red button, and these bells start to ring on the front of it, and the button starts to highlight, and the compartment that's under it starts to get really, really, really warm, and it's like a beep, 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 beep,
We got a jump!
and it
Okay, jump!
roll a dexterity saving throw.
Why would they put that on there?
I do have a dodge.
This is
I can dodge as a bonus action.
Yeah, so you'll have advantage on your dexterity saving throw. But essentially, Varkir, you see Herchek shoot his own wing and spiral down and land into the ruins. And then you see Crow and Thunky just two forms, just like, we'll see whether or not they're in flames, just fall from...
Like, what the fuck is wrong with these
Yeah.
things?
I got a 20 not natural.
What do I add to it?
A 20 not natural. So,
Dex.
yeah, you managed to
Dex.
get on your
As
little
in
stubby
dex.
dwarven feet and jump off as you hear the final ooh. What'd you get?
12.
12. Even with advantage?
My first roll was a 9, and the second roll was a 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and you see this arcing.
Wait, did you roll that?
Yeah.
This isn't a d20. Wait, is it? No, it's not. What are you doing? Oh.
Not much better.
10.
Nope, you see this arcing,
I'm
flaming
sorry.
form fall from the wreckage, this fiery wreckage of the now spinning ruined dragonflyer. Go ahead and roll at disadvantage to see if the dragonflyer will even like impact the zombie.
If I'm adding it, I got 17 and 19.
Yeah. So it sort of like lands in the ruined, decrepit face of this form, and just sort of like melts inside as the head lights a flame, and it's as though like the flyer, as it descends into the body of this zombie, flame just turns it to pretty much dust, and that's one down. But you you
Did it!
take.
You see me come up from some
I do
ruins.
have slow fall, which
Yay.
reduces 35 points.
Can you fix your flyer?
My
It
flyer's
reduces
still good.
35 points
I
of
think
fall
we need
damage?
to pick them up though.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you only take 1 point of damage.
Wait,
It's
how
36
high
points.
are we falling from?
Let's see. It was 5 stories high, and it's a
I'm
D8
doing
for
a
every
wild
story.
shape.
So you only managed to take. But sorry, Enzer, you also take.
Die instantly.
You take 11
I'm
points
a
of fire
flying
damage
squirrel.
as well. And Thunky, you take
I wanna
5
do-
points of fire damage because you
Okay.
successfully dodged it. Yeah, Varkir, what are you doing? What are you up to?
Guess I'm going to just try and fire some javelins at the zombie that's still alive.
Okay, go for it.
Praying that my vehicle doesn't blow up randomly or do anything crazy.
Don't press that one. But
Jesus.
I don't know where it went.
That's a 1. I think. No, it's a 12.
I
Sorry.
was gonna say like, wow, we are on fire tonight, like quite literally.
So 12, do I add anything to this thing or no?
No.
Okay, so 12 then.
Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah, plus your dexterity.
Oh, then still 12.
Oh, you don't have any dexterity? Plus 2, remember. Oh, no, it's not close proximity. Okay, so 12. You are still trying to get control of it. As you're pulling it up, you're just like, you pull the lever, and it's like, and it's lining the ground leading up to it, and one inserts into its shin, but just passes through harmlessly, as the rest of them pass through its in between its legs, and then you got to pull up to correct yourself.
That was never the greatest shot, I guess. Yep.
It's a 5-story building. How do you miss?
Quiet! You didn't even land!
Yeah.
Of my own accord.
Okay, so done. Your what wild shape are you turning into, Thunky? You still have your actions.
can I shoot off that fire bolt before transforming? Mid-flight. Mid-falling.
Transforming is an
That
action,
was a
though.
lightning bolt.
Or yeah, lightning bolt.
Oh.
The one I was holding.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. You see like through the flames from Thunky's finger as she like jumps off, just arcing down. Go ahead and roll damage.
I did.
Is there
and it
Oh,
was
what's the damage?
32.
32.
See
You have to
Thunky
roll a
just shoot
dexterity
backwards.
saving throw.
It automatically fails. There's no way this thing is going to is going to
Moving
dodge
time?
that. Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Where did the pen go? Is somebody trolling me right now?
Who is next to you that trolls you the most?
But I have Minna on my lap, so I am.
You're trolling yourself. Congratulations.
That very well could be.
You played yourself.
I'm
What the
also gonna
fuck?
change into a giant eagle.
Ka 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 ka. Ka 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 ka. 32 points of damage.
Do you want me to
I
gra-
needed pen.
Do you
Where
want me
did
to
it
grab
go?
you one? There's
If-
one. There's one in the kitchen.
If there's one super close by. This is. Sorry, folks. Ill prepared.
Fool.
You just have bacon down there?
We're just eating
It's
bacon
asbestos.
out
Yeah.
of a bag.
That'd be great.
That's gross.
Asbestos.
I have that screwdriver you can use.
In case you lose one.
Thank you.
Fine.
You can see the lightning sort of like singeing and bubbling the necrotic ooze that this creature is seemingly made out of, and some portions sort of like get solidified and then shatter and fall off, and it literally looks like it's necrotic. What's going on over there? It looks a little worse for wear, but it's still standing. Now the guards are going, and you can see one take this javelin from the side of his griffin and dive down. And as he pulls the javelin back, lightning, electric energy starts to form on the blade of the javelin, and he throws it down, and it's almost like it teleports through the zombie and finishes him off as it crumbles downward. The next one, Bobby says, "We're not done yet. We have to keep them. We have to keep them busy for the reinforcements." And he just flies to the next series of 3 now standing in your way. Same with the other two guards that were flying, as they are pressing forward to the next group. The sounds that you realize you heard in the hangar you can hear these screeching giant skulls just floating through the air. You're the only one on a flyer right now. And they are going to hit... the smoke from its... the Prime Shade's orb culminated into these skulls that are flying at you. Imagine nobody else is going to get this, but like unspoken skulls. And... one is going to go for
Are they chomping us, or are they
Bobby,
just
and he's they're shrieking as their sort of like ethereal skeleton jaw is like chomping towards you or towards Bobby, and it just consumes Bobby and explodes. And you see Bobby sort of twirl down in impact into the ground. The other one is going to...
Evasive maneuvers! Evasive maneuvers!
Evasive maneuvers! They're not quite far enough to get, or close enough to get any of you guys, but they're just close enough to go after the other guards, and let's see how we do.
Not the other zombies. These guys are racist.
One guard just sort of spins his basilisk in the air, and the skull narrowly skirts over its stomach, but it goes in for a second one. That's the next turn. Then the second skull is going to go after the other guy.
These are some intense skulls.
Huh?
See, these are some intense skulls. Just...
Yeah, no, really. And the other guy's still having in action, just sort of like takes his bow and arrow and fires 3 shots into like one eye, into the mouth. The other like goes straight through the nose, and it blows up in midair as he's flying forward. Next up is you guys. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Next up is the zombies.
they do? Hand swipe. Both.
And yeah, as the closest zombie to one of the guards tries to take advantage of him as he's distracted from the skull, from dodging the skull, it just reaches up and tries to grab him, and he uses his lance to just slice the hand in half and continue around it, just trying to sort of hold his ground. The next zombie is going to, you see just a hand reach up and grab one of the wings and just rip it off as the basilisk flies down into the ground, just as Bobby did. And so now you've got one guard in the air and one Varkir in the air.
Oh no! Oh no!
And he does not look good.
I think she was food.
All right. Next up is you guys. So it's you, guards, prime shade, like mini shades.
I would like to get back on my bike.
You're already on it. You just have to start it again. Remember, but the only deficit you have is 250 instead of 300 now.
Yep.
Awkward.
I'm gonna start my bike back up, and I'm gonna get it back up into the air, and then I'm gonna go pick up Crow.
Okay.
Unless you want to stay on the ground.
Yeah, I'm staying on the ground.
All right, I'm just gonna do a flyback. You good?
Okay.
And then
Yep.
I'm gonna do the same thing.
Okay, so you're going to the next series of 3 zombies.
Yeah. How close?
Okay.
How close? Okay, so the prime shade is how far away from these three?
The prime shade from these 3 is 3/4 of a mile.
3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm gonna. Bobby's on the ground.
Bobby's on the ground.
Is there a zombie near him?
There is. Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Bobby's aid.
Okay. You're gonna pick him up.
I'm gonna pick him up.
Okay. His basilisk is like, it's one of its arms is entirely just like snapped and folded in, and it's not dead. It's just suffering badly, just like clawing and raking at the ruins, screaming into the air. And he's just sort of like trying to comfort it as he looks at you, and he looks at it with sad eyes, and he goes, "I'm sorry, I'll be back for you." And he leaps up and grabs your arm. Let's take this thing out.
Let's do it, Bobby.
All right.
All right.
And he is going to start forming his constellation while he's riding on your back.
Cool.
And he
I'm
said-
gonna hold it steady right next to the 3, and I'm gonna wait for him.
Okay. Waiting for him.
Was that
I'll
was my
give
full
that
action?
in
Picking him
advance.
up.
Picking him up, and we'll say if you are using the rest of what you have to give advantage to like maneuvering around
Yeah.
any incoming attacks.
Yep.
Okay. Now that I realize it wasn't even the guard's turn when he did that, but we'll say that that's just what happens in together. All right. Crow, what are you doing?
I'd like to run towards the closest zombie creature and try to.
What is with everything you have, what is the most that you can move? Because remember, these are like hundreds of feet in between each other.
110 feet.
You'll just be able to make it with a ranged attack, nothing else. Unless Thunky picks you up as a flying creature. Which I'll say that you at level 10, you can turn into like an Unagoth now. If that's what you wanted. I'm only saying that because
Those
that's
things
the
that we
largest
faced on top of the
winged
tree.
creature that you've faced so far.
I can.
Those things were so easy to defeat.
I would like to do that if I can.
Sure.
I have to look up the stats on them.
That is a creature that I fully made up, so I'm going to try and look up something similar.
Can you
Remember
just send it
fighting
over?
those around me? Oh wait, you were sleeping at the bottom of the tree.
Yeah, because I wanted to go up there with little
And
to
you
no knowledge.
Just look up the stats.
You
for
Let's
that.
just go for it.
You
Let's
wanted
just
to
go
sit
for
down
it.
on the
Like,
map.
ask.
Just go for it. I don't have any money for that.
Don't forget, you still owe me 1,000.
I don't owe you 1,000. I paid you back that.
Yeah,
1,000
so you
'cause
hear
stole that
this
book.
this comparable but living screech emanate from Thunky's form as her dwarven limbs sort of fly out into and expand into these sort of like thick leathered gray bat wings with this giant swooping tail with spikes at the end of it in this hideous bat face. Did you find the basilisk
I
stats?
think so, yeah.
Think about what you're gonna do, Parker.
I'm
So
gonna
I'm
pick you
swooped
up.
up.
Yeah. You've
How
been
how
swooped.
how are you swooping him up?
It has talons and stuff, right?
Yes, I mean, so there's like riding on your back. There's like him grabbing your tail. There's grabbing with the
I have
talons.
a bat face. Okay. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna be like,
face?
and then like bite you by your cloak or whatever, and then like flip you up so that you can land on my back.
Okay, roll an acrobatics check.
Can it be like an advantage so I can like move my back? Like,
That's fine. It's
Judge
28.
all right,
23.
cool. We're good.
Yeah, you see him sort of like taken aback at first and just trying to like, oh shit, as he's lifted up and you throw him into the air and you see his body go from like this wild flail to immediately understanding what he has to do, like pulling in his arms and legs and spinning and diving down and then like tucking in and landing directly on your back in like the most comfortable position, grabbing the sort of like the natural yet sort of greasy bat fur that's like acts as a sort of like a small gray mane around these creatures.
So I'm sorry. It has a bat face, bat wings, spiked tail.
Imagine this very like thick battering ram tail.
Okay.
And yeah, no arms, but like large muscled taloned legs. What? What? Okay, so that is your action, and I will say that's your bonus action to compensate to get on the Unagoth. Now you have your action. As we'll say that your flight speed is comparable to a dragonfly, so it'll be 300 feet. And you guys have no idea that what the red button does. Still, you just saw them combust and explode in midair.
Oh,
so.
God.
Not even gonna press it now. But okay. Let's head towards the next zombie. I will jump off at it and attempt to slice it with my scythe.
Then, I got it.
Not if you understand.
I grab its fur ruffles and
Fruffles. Okay.
Can I, like, somehow prepare, like, I know what we're doing, but can I, like, prepare so when he jumps off and tries to slice it, can I, like, do a maneuver and try to catch him again on my back? Like, am I
it'll
prepared
be
mentally for
an
that?
acrobatics check on your part.
Okay.
And also on his part.
Okay. We got this.
Okay, so go ahead, roll to attack. As you are flying in, you see the again one of the guards' basilisks just get the wings ripped off of it, and as it goes into the ground, you see Herchek pick up Bobby as these three zombies are meandering. One over to Bobby, one managing the guard that's still flying, and the other about to try and just like obliterate the guard that's landed on the ground. Which one are you going towards? Bobby, flying guard,
Bobby.
or got it?
Well, I thought we already took out the one. Whoa. Okay,
You did.
almost.
2 are down
Okay.
out of the 8 that have spawned.
Yeah, the one towards Bobby, and I just rolled a 24 to attack.
24 to attack. Okay, let me see. Go ahead and roll damage.
Let's see.
So
And add 10 because you are like using the momentum of you flying.
Oh, that's good. 16.
16 points of damage?
Yeah.
Okay. Now roll an acrobatics check. And you roll an acrobatics check, Lucky.
What should I use for dexterity? Because it technically a basilisk says it can't fly.
It's just this is an Unagoth, so just use your own dexterity.
Okay.
24.
Man, I didn't even know basilisks couldn't fly.
Yeah, I looked it up.
They fly in my universe.
I mean, that's fine.
House rule infested game of 5th edition Dungeons
I was picturing
and
the
Dragons.
basilisk from Harry Potter, and it doesn't look anything like that. It just looks like a horned lizard with multiple legs.
My basilisks are like mini dragons.
It's very interesting.
What'd you get?
I got 12.
You got a 12. Okay, so whereas you miss the mark ever so slightly, trying to swoop him down, you feel this sort of like light weight cross the wings, your wings, as Crow, when you jump off initially, you pull out your scythe. The what was originally a bow staff has the scythe portion of it fling out and lock into place as you arc it down and carve into from the neck down through its chest and sort of like hook around its hip and release the scythe and jump. You see the wings of Thunky soaring coming from the opposite hip, and you just sort of like run as lightly as your lithe warforged form can across the left one of her left wings and just grab onto the fur scythe hanging down as she catches you and swoops around. The zombie is sort of just like spilling this black Icarus goo is a favorite term of mine, but yeah, it's just it looks good. Looks like it's still pretty good. Varkir, you're up.
Is that one giant still trying to crush that guard?
Yes, the left one.
Can I go and try and blind it with a firebolt to its eyes? Just
Yeah, sure.
okay.
Yeah.
Let him die. There's 8 of these things. You know the help we can get.
They're cannon fodder.
They're cannon fodder.
Oh, where'd it
Jesus
go?
Christ, Romy.
It always goes so weird and so far.
Yeah, if
Well,
only there was
yeah,
like
it's,
a container to roll your dice in.
It's an 11.
It's filled with all of his dice.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
11.
Oh.
So no.
This red glow flows through a portion of the caverns as it sort of arcs past and singes part of the zombie's necrofied face and explodes into the ruins beyond it, harmlessly impacting. Remember, you guys have rams on these things as well, and you get a +2 on top of whatever other bonus you're using if you engage in close quarter combat.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm just good with this.
Okay, so Bobby starts arcing the sort of whereas normally there's glowing orbs to signify the constellation, his is represented as sort of like snowflakes, like and then shatter upon their connection, and he is nearly completing it. He's done though. The guard that is down on with his basilisk, also just sort of like flailing, takes his bow and fires 3 more shots into the zombie coming towards him. Both of those are just awful. One flies off harmlessly. The other 2 impact through the neck and explode in fire, and the zombie's neck just starts to, you see the necrotic fabric of its skin just sort of tear apart as its head is now sort of like hanging on its torso, but still walking towards it. It looks pretty rough now. And the guy is he retreats into the guard retreats into the ruins, and then the flying guard, the one that's still up there that's been successfully dodging everything, he threw his lightning lance last time. he is going to just pull out 2 more javelins and throw them. Not lightning javelins this time, just like throw them at the zombie. One misses, and the other just sort of impacts its chest. It doesn't seem very phased at all. Yeah, not too much. Okay, and then the Prime Shade is up.
Boo.
He is going to
Does it run away?
Sorry. Actually, 1. We'll do 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
I'm not in this.
4. 4. Okay.
Yeah.
You see it raise its hand, that's its finger that's not holding the smoke billowing orb at you, and
Who's you?
at your
Be specific.
Okay, yeah, you're right. At Herchek and Bobby, and he raises his finger at you, and this necrotic sort of bubbling goo starts to form at the edge, and it just
I was holding for maneuvers.
shoots out. Yeah. So he'll roll at disadvantage.
I don't get to roll against him.
It's a first roll was a 3, so second roll was a natural 20. Second roll was a fucking natural 20.
Got
him. As you pull, you can see this sort of like the forming black ooze on its finger, and it's pointed directly at you. And you pull your dragon flyer up as the goo, as the black beam of energy starts slamming into the ruins directly behind you. As you're just
My mind is
flying
like,
in and out, and you actually sort of like you get inverted.
Yeah, thank you.
You go inverted,
Yes!
and you can see you can sort of like feel this cold, frightening energy pass underneath your head as you sort of like barrel roll around it and find an area of stability again as the energy just dissipates. Lucky, it's your guys' turn right now, but I really have to go to the bathroom, so I will be right back. What the 20
He
signify?
rolled a
Yeah,
disadvantage.
like what?
He rolled at disadvantage.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was just like, what the?
So I will be right back.
Welcome back, SASANs. Hope you enjoyed those intros.
Herchek Bane. I grew up in the fringed bear.
Every time I hear that, it makes me cringe. Every time.
Herchek, what kind of? How was that even? The frenzied bear.
I don't know. You kept it in there.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Like, but if Herchek actually talked like that, it'd be even cooler.
The whole thing just makes me.
I am Herchek
It
of the
makes
fringed bear.
every time. The whole thing just makes me cringe. Like I can
Bear
listen,
wolf.
like everybody else is everybody else is like I can listen. This is pretty cool. And then I listen to mine. I'm like, oh, you're an
I think
idiot.
we're all just
You're an idiot. It's
too
cringy. It's so cringy.
Yeah,
I got through mine once, and I haven't gone back.
My name is Funky Beerbot.
But don't let the beard fool you. I'm a girl.
I'm a girl.
I like that voice.
I liked your Guts song. I thought it fit yours pretty well. But anyway, okay, so
Well, of course.
back in the action. It is now Oren's Obliterate's chance to move. What will you do? Herchek still staying stable after dodging a death beam from the Prime Shade.
I'm going to let Bobby finish his shit and I'm going to just hold for maneuverability.
Got it. Got tits. Crow, Thunky.
Okay. Let's circle back.
Oh, God. And he comes back with 3,000 pairs of clothes.
Whoa,
Need help?
dude. Yeah, need help?
Don't listen to them. Do it on your own. You can do it. I believe in you.
You refresh your wardrobe?
Did you go shopping for us? That's really kind.
Yeah.
Is that all the clothes that you left down south?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I left some stuff down there. Oh, really?
Wait, you left some stuff down there.
It's like a whole closet.
Did you guys break up? Okay.
Do you have your toothbrush?
toothbrush now.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah,
good.
they're fine.
I use like half my toiletries, but I want to wear some things.
How do you brush your teeth with half a toothbrush?
I only need half of it. I only brush my Wait a second. That's you put two toothbrushes together back to back. You could brush.
Actually, that is kind of
Darth
smart.
Maulers.
Wait, that
I
would.
usually brush like
I
this.
understand where I know where you're going.
Brush
I
saver.
love that idea.
It's actually kind of smart.
Yeah. You wanna try it? It's
It's-
hard seltzer. Try it since you like LaCruxes.
No, I don't like clean water.
You like LaCroix?
No, it's hard
LaCroixes?
seltzer.
LaCroix?
It's alcoholic. It's
LaCrugaja?
It's an alcoholic hard seltzer, which is redundant. Yeah, they're called White Claws. They're in the outside fridge. You can grab one if you want.
But just grab it. You gotta put it back
Is
after.
that a new DM?
Upgrade.
You down to play next weekend?
I'm here next weekend.
That's gross.
Yeah. We'll be playing with Storm from Big Box.
Oh, she's
Wait, here?
No, not here. She'll be joining via Skip. Probably.
At the house?
The new.
I mean, like we're
Another
playing
new
with her
campaign.
At
Is
the
it a
house?
new campaign
She's
or
not
what?
gonna be. It'll be a one-off. There's no way I have time to dedicate to a new campaign
Is there
for
anybody else
just.
joining?
We can see if
Is Kylie gonna
Sean
join?
wants to join. Oh yeah, Kylie may join. What's up?
Kylie?
I don't know. I have no idea. She plays D&D.
We talked about a lot of D&D at PAX.
Got from FGPG. Do you? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, she is a gamer, so yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play. Oops, here.
Fraternize with the help.
So it's like mostly all you fraternize. Fraternize.
Fraternize.
kidding.
You're drunk.
Fraternize. I. Are we ready?
Yes, but also
Been
someone
with-
smells like the. It's not me.
Might be me.
I don't want to.
As I can see
If you were a good friend, Kat,
A
you would.
stain or just a?
Oh, never mind. It's a shadow.
Just shadow.
It's fucking right.
No, he does have pit stains going on right now. You look a little hot.
I don't get it.
I don't either. But it makes me sad.
I mean, look at his forehead. Look at that gleaming, shining forehead.
But that's not a pit.
Raise your armpit up.
It's the exact
Raise
opposite
your
of a
armpit
pit.
up. Raise it up. Oh, you're drier now.
Stand for
All right. Her check holding steady. Crow and Thunky, what are you up to?
We would like to maneuver back towards Mega
U-turn.
U-turn. Yeah.
Sharp U-turn.
One of those like we go, we do like
Attacking the
an-
same one? The middle one?
Yeah.
That you attacked for? Okay.
So
Are
peel
you
up,
doing the same maneuver?
and then we, as we're inverted, do like a half barrel roll so that we're facing up again. One of those sweet maneuvers.
Sure. Because the effect is 0, you go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to do the same thing, but we'd like to go low this time and try and like basically hack its slice through and through on one of its feet.
Okay.
Or not feet,
Roll a d20.
Ankles?
shin area.
Achilles heel.
Not good.
Remember, add 2. Oh.
17.
Ooh, okay, so the a hand comes up and tries to grab you, Thunky, and you just dive through it as the last of its grip gets slashed by the Thunky's spiked tail, and you swoop down. Are you staying on Thunky as you're slicing
Yeah, I'd like to bonus action do like like grasp. I'm sitting
Yeah.
I'll say like I'll take purchase and like grab my I don't know what it's called. But squeeze my thighs to like hold
Okay.
onto the body,
Got it.
and then like extend my reach.
Is
with
there
the
any
scythe.
attack that you want to do, Thunky, or any action?
Can I attack it with my tail?
Sure.
With my-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like-
So you shall not pass. Roll a d20, Thunky.
What do you want me to add? Strength? Like my strength?
for you.
Dexterity,
Fake
and then
strength?
plus 2 onto your dexterity.
14.
Yeah, you beat it also. Okay, so yeah, Crow. Go ahead and roll damage, and again add 10 to it.
Ooh.
20. Because I had
Okay. Yeah.
3 for my flesh 3. I guess.
All right. Okay, so as you, Thunky, actually, you go ahead and roll damage as well.
What would be the...
Actually, it's close enough. Don't worry about it. So as you swoop and narrowly miss its grasp, as it clenches its fist above you, you swoop down, and Crow pulls out the scythe and inserts it into its shin and slices halfway through from all the way to the outside to about halfway inside. As this again, the black goo is spilling out, and then you, to finish it off with your tail, just bash the severed portion of the leg, and you hear this break inside, and this sort of like wet sort of shifting and slap of goo jettison out the other side as it loses purchase and also what life it had, as you guys pretty much killed it. And it slams into the ruins below, a third one down. Out of
Can we
8.
do like a super fast move up into the sky?
Roll
and
a
then I'm gonna go
dexterity
like
saving.
this at the
Roll a
top, like,
dexterity check. Yeah. Yeah. Roll a dexterity check. Varkir, you also have this like you're more angry and just angry in general than you've ever been. Like there's this feeling of hatred welling up inside you against the Prime Shade that you can't quite put a finger on just yet.
I got a 16.
And you're still being assailed, Thunky, by the whispers from this Prime Shade. You got a 16? Yeah, I mean, it's not so, it's not as elegant as you were imagining or like empowering. This is your first time sort of like bringing out the full shrieking force of the Prime Shade, and it just annoys most people around it. As you
But in
flap
my
out your
head,
wings. Yeah.
I am epic.
Exactly.
Everybody's like, ah!
Yeah,
Okay,
Crow,
perfect.
just like the slats of
Roll
his
to hold
ears
on.
sort of like shut. No, you're good. You roll to hold on. Yeah,
No,
fine.
no, you don't have to.
No, he wanted to.
You
This is
don't
what
have
D&D is
to.
about. Living out your dream.
Oh, okay.
I hold on.
Okay, yeah.
Thank-
Was that a natural 20?
No, it's
It was
18.
18.
Varkir, you're up.
So that's 4 out of the 8 down, or is that 3 out of the 8?
3.
Down? So there's still 2 more giants in front of us.
Yeah. The right one and the left one.
Alright, I guess I'll just circle around and shoot my javelins at the one that's still trying to crush the guard.
Okay. The one with the sort of like the head that's barely attached to its torso. Go ahead and roll to attack.
What do I add for these javelin things? Nothing?
Dexterity. It's how
Oh, yeah,
accurate
I guess
you
it's
are.
dexterity, okay.
If you're proficient.
17.
17. Yeah. Go ahead and roll 3d8s.
D8.
Damn.
Which one's a D8? This one?
Spiky boy.
This one?
No, this one.
Oh, that's D8. Okay. 3 of them?
Yep.
God.
Come on, Rummy, come on, learn.
There! So,
13.
6, 6, and 1. Alright, 13. Yeah.
13.
This one's so bouncy, though. I don't know why it's so bouncy.
I mean, you're throwing it like
I'm just
you're
dropping
throwing
it.
it off the
Roll from much
Empire
lower.
State Building.
I'm just
Jeez.
dropping it. I'm just directly dropping it.
Stop this madness.
Okay. Along its side again, sort of as you've found this straight on. You've got enough distance to where you can just aim at it straight on, and you're pelting its back as he's still facing this now fleeing guard. And you can just sort of like see them explode out of the other side as necrotic ooze just spills from the wounds as they sink inside and stay.
So this hatred, is it like infectious, or is it something that I would have to fight off eventually? What is this? Like, is it like something I would fight away, or something that's just like that's just happening to me?
It's you can try and fight it if you want, but this is something where it's almost like, I think possibly what you're getting at is, yeah, it's something that you want to give into. It's like, it's a very alluring kind of hatred. Like, you want to see this Prime Shade suffer and die, and whatever would make a Prime Shade suffer, you want to find it out and do it.
Dad jokes.
Okay, Bobby. The snowflake completes from his constellation summoning and pulses out into the air and then shatters as snow begins to fall in the vicinity around the two remaining Titan zombies in your area, and you see the familiar angelic figure of the woman skating in the reflection of the snowflakes as they fall to the ground. Incredibly large women. What's so funny?
That sound.
Incredibly large, voluptuous, like scantily clad women made out of ice appear out of the snow.
A short circuit.
And again, sort of
Blood.
like they sensually caress and sort of like move in very close to these zombies and kiss them on the lips.
Ugh.
And the zombies freeze in place, both of them around you.
They got really hard.
They get hard, you get hard. Let's make it some hard style,
Everyone's
you
getting
know.
hard.
Yeah.
The Uniga.
Yeah.
Say hard style.
All right, I line him up, you knock him down. Take the reins, Bobby. You feel his hands sort of like move past your obliques and grab the handlebars. So that was his move. The guard is going to fire 3 more arrows. The one that's running away sort of just like climbs on top of the nearest building and gets 3 arrows off. And all 3, one lands into the leg, shatters. The other, the sort of like pelvis shatters. The other, the head that was lolling to its side, shatters as the entire zombie crumbles down. Another zombie down. The flying one is going to continue to bring out his javelins. 1, 2 at the one that's frozen. One flies through its armpit, doesn't make contact, and the other lands into its shoulder, shattering it, and it falls to the ground. It is still frozen. Hey.
You fuck.
The Prime Shade is going to reach out its freed hand and draw, just like slowly. You can almost hear the shifting of its limbs. What is it? It's and he draws a cross in the air, and the cross turns into this like physical black cross and holds in front of him, and you see these crosses of various sizes and distances form in the proximity around all of you. And from these crosses, you start to see this sort of like almost like black electricity form in between all of them, and like this immediate black thunderstorm hits all of you. Roll a dexterity saving throw.
Me?
Everybody.
Even though I'm holding the maneuver?
Roll it at advantage.
I'm resistant to poison.
It's not. Oh, natural 20.
What?
He's
Dexterity?
resistant to poison.
Dexterity? 17.
That's 11.
11?
Use some of your 20.
Actually, hold on a second. I am going to use. I'm going to use Arcane Deflection. So I get a +4 to that bonus saving throw.
You get a +4?
So now it's say 15.
Oh, are we adding +2?
Bending the lightning.
No, you're not. Okay, what'd you get?
That's 15.
15?
17.
20. Natural 20. And then
10.
10. Okay, so you two, as this lightning, this black, terrifying lightning manifests in between all of these crosses and starts to connect immediately from all of them and just sort of like get thrusted into the ground. You take 54 points of necrotic damage.
I'm dead already, though.
You're dead already?
I'm dead.
Okay,
Can't
50.
be healed, so I'm dead.
You can't be healed?
It's necrotic damage.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Necrotic, 54 points of necrotic damage, 54 points of necrotic damage, 27
What?
points, 27 points of necrotic
Oh,
damage.
I'm not dead. Thank God.
Yeah, it's completely.
Did you take a short rest prior to the fight?
Yeah, I'm all my. Yeah.
So that can't be healed? Like,
Hmm?
even with cure wounds and stuff? It can only be cured with, like, long rest?
Yeah,
Well, that sucks.
Wait, how much for me?
27.
Okay.
Oh,
You
wait.
you see.
Well, actually, I
Sorry,
am
really
resistant
fast.
to necrotic, so I don't know how that's.
Okay, so 27 points of necrotic damage.
Do you know of the health plants?
Just do 60 for now. Yeah, I'll come up with the Unagoth. I think you guys were level 7 when you fought the Unagoths. 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And the Bobby. Since he's with you, he makes it. The other guard.
What's up?
You see the guard that was in flight with throwing the javelins from his what are the arrows put in?
Quiver.
From his quiver of javelins. You see him and his griffin just seize up in this dark lightning and start falling with smoke billowing off of them. Neither of them are moving. And the other guard that was on top of the roof firing, he is like charcoal. He's obliterated right now. So it is literally just Bobby that is left with you guys. And the other, the lightning even took care of the other zombie, and it's out as it just shattered it. This is just a mindless creature that is a now mindless creature that is just like releasing everything that it's got. All right, there are 3 left, about 300 feet from you guys right now, and it is their turn. One is going to sort of like, you see it look at. Are you dead?
No, I'm back. I'm.
Okay. It's just you guys. it towards you, Crow and Thunky, the blue eyes lock onto you, and you see its jaw just almost like fall and catch the slack from whatever sort of like physical necrotic flesh is acting as its flesh, and this green energy is just welling up inside of its throat, and in a radius of about 10 feet is just flying at you. Go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw.
Wait, I think I actually took no damage last time. Or was it a dex?
It was a dex save.
Yeah, I think that as a monk.
Oh, you did.
It's reduced to 0.
Jesus!
You have done that yourself!
That was crazy. Minda, throw me back her check. You're gonna get kicked out,
Not
Minda.
this time, though.
What'd you get?
5.
You're lucky you didn't break, Minda.
You take 19 points of acid damage.
Is that halved?
No. Wait, why would it be half?
Because if I fail, it's halved. If I succeed, it's...
You already used your reaction this time, though.
Okay.
Your reaction is what gives you the evasion. If it's in the same round, you don't have that reaction anymore.
Okay.
This is for his dexterity?
Yeah,
saving
yours as well. You, I guess you
What?
you can do it at advantage maybe, but it'll count for both of you since you're on the same physical.
throw? Even though I rolled
Body.
a 21.
Literally the same thing.
What's up?
Even if I rolled a 21.
Oh, you rolled a 21. Then never mind. It's like you shift your physical body out of the way, and it just like slams into Crow. It's almost like you sacrificed him to save yourself a little bit. Yeah, as it just washes through your warforged form, you can feel sort of like the acid disintegrating and melting down some of your wooden and metallic plates on your outer shell. So yeah, 19 points of acid damage, and the other zombies are just gonna meander forward. So it's about 250 distance between you and them. All right, you guys are up now.
Alright, so me and Bobby are switching places.
Yeah.
Ever so gracefully. I'm bracing myself on Bobby. Like, go in for one! And I'm gonna try to, with the starlight, take one out. The ice ones.
The ice ones are dead.
Okay.
They're all dead, yeah.
So-
Now it's just the last three in between you and the Prime Shade.
How far is the Prime Shade? From the
Prime Shade's
last-
like 500. The
From the last three?
three are about an average of 300. They're 250 now.
Alright, I'm just gonna go, Bobby! Go for the shade! And I'm gonna begin to cast the constellation. Because it takes a full turn.
Okay. As you
Great.
what?
I just picture something bad happening now.
No. So Bobby's going to use all of his. We'll combine his turn now with your guys' turn because he's the only one left out of the guards. He's going to dash. So that's 250 plus 250. That's going to get you to the Prime Shade at about halfway. You all hear Penke come out of the bag, and he goes, Valkyria! One of your eternal enemies is before us! The betrayer! And he, you see his snout saying this, and he takes one of his arms out with this black potion and just bites it in his mouth and leaps out of the bag. And his form grows and grows and grows.
It's got Penke!
Yeah, and Penke is a little bit smaller than the Prime Shade Priest right now. sliding in the ruins like claws digging into the previous homes that was there. And he goes, "He was one of your own. We must take him out now."
What are you talking about, Pinky?
Yeah. The hatred that you feel welling up inside of you, you are trying to make that connection, but it's very hard. Now that you're closer, the closer that you get, if you want to try and sort of like make an investigation check or something to try and discern an aspect of this creature, then you can go for it. It won't be your turn to do so. It'll be like a free action or a bonus action.
I guess I would like to do an insight check on my turn to see what like this person or thing used to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can. It is the player's turn right now. So her check. You are flying forward.
I'm making the
and
constellation.
You're making the constellation, shifting it in the air. These droplets of water as your blade starts to glisten with salted seawater. Just water sliding off of your blade and hanging in the air to make the connection points to this constellation that you're following, like one of those sort of like toddler like
Thanks for
the
downplaying
lines.
this a lot. It's great. This one epic moment, this epic thing,
And there
this
are
crazy sword.
small sort of like slivers of lightning dashing between each one as you're connecting it, and now you're just flying around. There's no reaction. You don't get advantage because he used both of his move and his dash to get there. So, Varkir, you are up. Roll an insight check. The blue orbs that are his eyes are, now that you're paying attention, you notice that they are trained only on you now.
That's creepy.
And there is this there's this familiar animosity that is billowing out towards you. And you're looking at the garbs that it's wearing. It's like just this husk of a being, impossibly large. But some of its garments actually are flashing through your head as being very familiar to you. You can't still, in your frame of mind, pinpoint where they are. But they it almost hurts how familiar it is, but you can't picture where you've seen them before.
Do they have like specific colors or anything in the garments, or is it just like all ghostly prime shape?
It's primarily like it's not the material of silver or gold or blue, but you see this sort of like red gemmed or ruby gemmed ring. It's really unfortunate that that's not facing the other way. I feel like we could sell it on, the dark web. But yeah, you see this ruby ring on its elongated, zombified fingers that's just pure red, and you see that most of its coloration is silver and blue with like small highlights of gold.
Okay, I'll make note of that.
Okay, but you also have your action. That was just a bonus action or free action.
How far away is the prime shade still?
You haven't moved yet. It's about 500 feet.
How far can this thing shoot?
If you dash, you can. It goes 300 feet in just one turn, but if you dash, you can get there easy. But that's your action.
Yeah, but how far can I shoot the javelin?
Oh, can you shoot the javelin? Like 100 feet. So even just going there, it'd be like you could shoot it. You could aim it up and fire at disadvantage if you wanted to.
I'll try that.
I feel like Varkir in this moment would do anything possible to just fucking attack this thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to get as close as I can and shoot at him.
Okay, so you get 300 feet. There's 200 feet on the way. You have to pass through 3 zombies to get there. Otherwise, you'd have to arc around using more of your flight, if that makes sense.
I'll just go try and go through the zombies.
Okay, going through the zombies. Go ahead and roll, and then add 2. Never mind. It's one trying to throw its hand at you just swipes the shoulder of the other, and the other and the one next to it just like spins around and lands on the ground. Rolled a natural 1. As you just seeing this scene fly above the one that's slammed onto the ground. So you've made it 300 feet. Go ahead and roll at disadvantage.
Yeah, 3.
3.
Plus 2.
You see these contained sort of dust plumes sort of billow out from its feet as none of them hit. You could some went through the fabric, some went through the sort of like priest hat that it's wearing, but that is it. Enzer, Luna, Crow, Thunky.
This is the Prime Shade's like 500 feet out?
Yeah.
And the zombies.
The zombies are 300.
Maybe we should just fly low towards the zombies and try and recreate what we did previously, going for the ankle of the closest zombie, while heading toward, still in line with the Prime Shade. We're not going to stop doing any U-turns.
I'm sorry, repeat that one more time.
We're just heading towards the first zombie.
Okay.
And then going to continue, try and attack the leg like we did the last.
And then just continue past?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a d20, add 2.
Oh my. I got a 20, not natural.
I got a natural 1.
Natural 1. Thunky getting a hold of this Unagath's form, this giant creature. It's hard for her to remember that there's another being on her back, especially one as light and just as light as Crow. And Thunky turns to the side as this hand is coming down vertically, just slapping down on top of you. And she spins at a 90-degree angle. Her wings are vertical or perpendicular to the ground, and the zombie just slaps you right off of Thunky as she veers away and skirts along its extended arm. You slam into the ground, taking...
I'll come and pick you up.
27 points of bludgeoning damage. You land through the roof of this ruined building, down 3 stories, and the entire building just crumbles down around you and buries you inside of it. So, Thunky, you make it past if you desire, or
Can I circle back
you can.
for Crow?
Yeah.
Did I land in a 3-point landing?
A crumpled version of the 3-point landing.
That's unfortunate.
Do I have any strength, like as an Unuga, to
Yeah.
like, remove?
Yes,
Soldiers.
certainly. You're a big-ass creature.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna like
Big-ass creature.
dig.
Okay,
for-
you spend your action, which, by the way, is in front of
Oh, it's like
3 zombies. One directly in front of.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get out of this mess. Keep going.
You see like a hologram of like an exclamation point above Crow.
Is the zombie's foot like evident? Like it could
The
circle
zombie's
me
foot
at
isn't
any time?
eminent. He just smacked Crow down to the ground. It's not immediately clear what the zombie's going to do next.
Okay. So can I do like a perception check as I'm like trying to dig up some rocks to see if this is even worth it? Like if I can do this in time, or if
Yeah,
this is
go
gonna
for it.
take too long. Can I use my stats?
You're what?
My personal stats.
Yeah, sure.
12.
Yeah, you guys do have assassin dice. With your help, you would if you feel as though if you were to leave, you would be almost like submitting Crow to his fate because he's in a pretty dire position underneath all of this. You feel like taking off the few largest portions of rocks, like this material is, the stone itself is a lot lighter than you thought it is. So like even pushing down with more force, trying to frantically clear the rubble, you are almost like breaking this stone and throwing out piles of like sand dust.
Okay. He's gonna tell me to go, and I'm gonna be like, "Rah!" And I'm just like,
Minda's face was like, she like shook when you did that. She
Didn't bother her. She shook. You shook, Midna. Okay. Bobby did his thing, and now the Prime Shade is going to sort of like his hand just grabs soil from the ground, and you can see him pushing his arm even deeper inside of it, and the areas in almost like a 300-foot vicinity around him, the ruins start to crumble and fall, and these geysers of about like 20 feet in diameter of necrotic just liquid are spilling up around everyone. I want roll a dexterity saving throw.
With advantage?
Not advantage, no. Just dexterity saving throw. Actually, I would roll the dexterity saving throw because it's Bobby. Okay. Natural 18, so you're good as flying in and out and weaving in and out between these geysers of black energy. What did? Oh yeah, you roll. I'll just roll to see if it hits you.
sorry, what am I rolling?
Dexterity saving throw.
21.
Okay, you feeling the ground rumble to your left, you bat your wings to the side and shift almost in like a semicircle around, landing on the other side of where you're digging out Crow, as this the sort of like rocks melt away and this black sort of ink forms around it at first, and then it explodes out right next to where you used to be, and there's still sort of like acidic sprinkling on your Unagoth form. Is it not enough to harm you, but it's like if when you're cooking you feel like the grease shoot out and singe your skin, that's comparable. So that what did you roll, Barkir? Dexterity saving throw. Remember, these necrotic geysers are shooting out. Yeah.
Wow, just bumped into a 7.
That's shitty. You take 10 points, 10 more points of necrotic damage.
Resistant, so do I get 5?
Yeah, you take 5 points of necrotic damage. And the zombies, the Titan zombies are up now. One is going to just try and he's gonna the one directly in front of you is going to just like crouch down and try and bite you. Is just like go ahead and roll a d20, roll a dexterity saving throw.
No. Can I take yours?
No, you don't roll,
you
Crow.
assassin dice.
Oh.
Oh, that's right. That seems like a good time. Please. Please. Yay! 21.
Man, I really wanted it to bite you. Yeah, so you just narrowly miss. Again, you sort of like flap your wings, throwing a lot of the debris off of Crow as you shift your form just to narrowly escape its just horrendous breath and gnashing teeth in your direction. You can see that its own teeth break underneath the force of its own sort of like jaw clench. And then the one to its right is going to just sort of like try and claw at you as well with 2 attacks.
So are they like in Attack on Titan, looking like straight in on the house?
They're mainly you were covered. They're mainly going after the immediate like largest flesh threat.
You said this is a 3-story house?
It was a 3-story house, and then it all crumbled as you fell through it.
Oh, I thought just like the ceiling and then the roof and the ceilings caved
No,
through, but it
you're
still has
like
the
this
outer
is
structure.
so. What you know of the Prime Shades is that they grow in strength by consuming the element, like the natural element pervading the land that they're in. It's kind of almost off-putting to think that this Prime Shade is one made out of necrotic energy. Like, that means this entire civilization, there's more death and like sorrow and hatred just underneath Orenbelle from the denizens that used to live here than there is any other natural element, even stone. And so this Prime Shade has formed over who knows how long to consume all of that necrotic energy inside of it. So the fact that everything is brittle, it's almost like it's been taking the life and even death out of everything that's been in the vicinity. So like people will just crumble to dust, entire walls, like everything here is you are putting together now that you might even be able to just sprint forward and shoulder chuck through some of the debris that you're in. It's literally like anything forming the natural material has been sucked into these Prime Shades.
Got it.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Sorry. So the one attacked twice, just with wild fist down. One slams right next to you, and the other crunches right down on your on your wing and presses you into the ground as your eyes sort of meet the still dazed eyes of Crow. And you take... that didn't count. Even though it was an 8, it should have counted. 24 points of bludgeoning damage. As one misses and the other makes contact. Varkir, you already shot? Did you already go?
I think, yeah, I shot at the Prime Shade at first, but I don't know if that was last turn? Maybe? I don't know if it was this turn. Where I went 300 feet and shot at them, and then they went and did their...
Oh, yeah. No, you're still up. Or you have a turn, I think. You're connecting... The Prime Shade did the release. You...
Oh yeah, I did before the Prime Shade did release.
So then, yeah, you are the only one left in this round for players.
I guess, bonus action to see if I can demise, like, who, in my history, who I have known they got a red gemmed ring, I guess, on their hand. But I think that would be pretty significant, or does he not?
Yeah. Go for it.
Nice.
So that's a 21. Not natural.
21. As you look at the ring and try and discern exactly where all of these emotions are coming from, like this moment, this scene, this whatever this is has to mean something to you, has to connect to your past in some way. Looking at the ring actually almost reveals everything that you need to know. You remember that every single one of the leaders, the captains of the of House Invictari wore this ring as a symbol of their unity and their connection, of their blood bond through their Aasimar lineage. There was one priest that, looking at his garments, that's where your mind goes next. Like, they all had, I'm getting this vague feeling like they all had their own sort of special task, their own ability, their own, like, they all leaded one portion that was necessary in our war. And the only one you can think of is Valden comes to mind. But you still can't even place, like, a form or a memory. It's just, like, one sort of personality that is getting at you, that you inescapably know had some big part to do with your
Like,
fall.
Valden, he was an upstanding young man, though. I don't understand how this could happen to him.
You still have your action, and
Nevertheless, I want to take more shots at him.
okay, yeah, go for it. You can clear the distance. Do you want to go
I want
past?
to get closer to him.
Okay.
And yeah, shoot him. So the advantage or disadvantage or normal now?
And normal. So that 18 will be actually a sort of like a dexterity check for you to actually sort of navigate through the harsh pillars of this necrotic energy spilling out of the earth. So you successfully sort of guide alongside some of the geysers and swoop down low past some of the arcing spills that are coming out of the earth. And you make it you round the corner of the largest geyser and see the object of your animosity.
So then I shoot at him?
What's up?
Then I shoot at him?
Yeah, you do.
12.
You don't add anything? Did you add something?
No, that's just shooting the weapon.
Plus 4. Or sorry, plus 2. Did you already do that?
Oh, then 14. I guess.
You die. As big as this shit. The third shade didn't go.
The third shade?
Not the third shade. Sorry, the third zombie.
Where'd the other two come from?
Must be really tired.
He
Okay,
was,
go,
preoccupied.
14 just hits. This is a giant creature, so
Barely.
yeah. And you're as you're shooting, your eyes lock with its giant blue orbs, looking out at you, and you can almost hear it trying to form the words Vihas.
Yeah, keep going.
Go ahead and roll damage.
Swerve.
What is damage for these things again?
And remember, this creature is like
3d8.
3 times larger than even the Titans.
Oh. Alright, that's just like, as I'm flying away, I'm just passing this giant eye, I guess.
Nice.
What is that? 7?
What the fuck number is this?
It's a 5.
Is this a 5? Oh, okay, so you got 15.
15. It's 'cause the 7 is like a 1.
A 15. Okay. Passing through the frayed fabric of its priest garments and slamming into the sort of meat, for all intents and purposes, of this prime shade. So that is your turn. The zombies went. They attacked her. And now I think I got the entire order fucked up.
Dude,
What about?
it's been changing ever since.
No, it hasn't been changing ever since. This is the first time it's fucked up, for
It's
sure.
my turn.
Did
It's
Penguin
definitely my
and
turn.
Jaeger go?
Did the shade go?
I think we just went back so I don't think Varkir got a turn out of when you 4 went, when Thunky was taking out Crow. Crow tried to slash and got smacked down. You held your action, or you were started the constellation. And yeah, so it is the
Female barbarian's
did
turn.
the pillars of necrotic energy happen before or after you started to summon?
After.
After. Okay, then the Titans went. I forgot one. So that was just your. Now it's the player's turn again.
Oh, but I didn't notice
It's
that.
Okay. You're releasing it.
on the Prime Shade.
All right. What's the description one more time? Just in terms of how much damage it does.
It does 4d12 lightning, 4d12. I don't know what the cloud is. Cloud with the radiant.
I say cloud damage.
Thunder. Isn't it? It says lightning, thunder,
And force.
yeah, bludgeoning. How would you bludgeoning damage? What?
I think that's bludgeoning. So, thunder, or lightning, thunder, bludgeoning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so 8d12, 4d10. I'm gonna do this on
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
12. Do I plus anything, or is just 8d12, or just straight?
It's
Plus
just
2.
all of those
Plus-
high dice rolls.
Alright. And then do 40, 10.
You all start to
68
feel
points of damage.
precipitation. 68.
Onto the Prime Shade. It actually has to make a save. 17
As I said, these things are lumbering
on the shade.
giant forms. Yeah, there's no way that it can possibly dodge.
Or be like Raiden. Lightning coming at my eyes.
Yeah, so you see this trail of pure light blue cascading energy. 2 lines form from Herchek's dragonflyer position as Bobby is weaving in and out of these pillars of necrotic ooze. Herchek finally completes his constellation, and you all start to feel precipitation tapping on your skin in like the entire area of the cavern as you start to see sort of like the ruins get damp, and you start to see small rivers of water pushing these ruins aside as more and more wells up. You see pillars of thunder or pillars of lightning strike down into the necrotic pillars that already existed, and you start to see the color get lighter and brighter as the ooze, the necrotic energy is pushed out, and it's entirely replaced by pure raging twisters of water that start to rip through the environment and all align on one target of the normal Prime Shade. One of the zombies gets caught up in it and gets sucked in, and you see a whole bunch of different body parts just like fly out in different directions as the pillars of lightning collide with the vortexes, the what are they called? The water
Cyclones.
the cyclones as they're ripping forward, and it's just these cyclone tornadoes of electric energy, or filled with electric energy, just destroying the land as they're ripping their way in towards the Prime Shade. One, like the Prime Shade is trying to fight it, and you see this sort of like barrier of necrotic energy form up as it shatters and rips through, tearing the garments. Its almost entire left side is left bare. Another one slams into him. Just one after the other, as it's now just this like zombie, this large, still menacing zombie husk, but like bits of its necrotic flesh have been ripped off entirely, and you can see sort of like exposed bone and skeleton as the very last cyclone. You see the sort of like face of Regentia form throughout it, and you see her tail appear from the back as it rushes forward with a trident in hand. As this tidal wave of thunderous and electric energy slams up against it, pushing it down onto the ground and extinguishing its sort of holy ball of billowing gas, the incense. As it is, you can still see the small forms of electric energy just dance across its now moist flesh. And
I'm just gonna, as my bonus, like hold on. So as I'm still holding on to Bobby, I'm gonna like whisper as like, "You have your constellation, and now you've seen mine." And we go back to it.
He doesn't say anything, but you can tell that even though the outcome of the battle seems much more optimistic, like he sort of degrades a little bit on the inside, and like whereas like he seemed like a solid form behind you supporting you before, now he just seems like he's a little bit less of a man behind you, and he just says that makes no difference. Kunbara's gonna be mine anyway. It's no big deal. Whatever.
Is the Prime Shade's navel exposed?
The Prime, yeah, it's the most exposed, yeah, in that it flew off and is sticking on the side of a building.
It's got piercing.
So you guys have 2 more zombies, and the Prime Shade is like looking very rough. The leftmost one that pummeled you got ripped away by the cyclone that erupted by you. And then there's 2 more. So Varkir went. You 2 are up now.
So I'm in the rubble.
Yeah.
Do I need to do any checks to get out of there, or am I?
You could spend your bonus action and most of your movement getting out, but there's like a thin layer above you now. Like part of your arm is exposed to the free world now.
Yeah, I'm gonna bust out of there
Okay.
and grab onto Thunky and be like, "Thunky, let's go!" Oh.
I'm gonna look at him and be like, "What are you talking about?" Because now I'm regular Thunky.
Just grabs onto your calf, like
stares up confidently.
Yeah.
I
I don't see race.
I do have a question about wild shapes really fast. Can I change into the same animal twice?
Yeah, if you have 2, you can. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
If you can change.
Okay,
I'll
I'll
see
do
you.
this. No, I'll do this. I'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'll be like, ha! Just kidding. And then I'm going to jump into the air. And then turn into another
I'm gonna
unit.
jump to meet her in the air and grab her.
Okay. Thunky spirals into the Unagoth form. Once more. Releasing her screech into the air, you hop on, grab the fur, and pull yourself into the same position. Thunky, your action is done. I think you have a bonus action, and Crow, you still have your action. You still have your movement as well, Thunky.
How far away is the Prime Shade?
The Prime Shade at this point is like 250 feet, about.
Okay, we can do that. I can fly towards that.
There is a Titan zombie directly in front of you, in which you'd have to roll.
Can we fly up and over it?
You are still it's like opportunity attack. So either way, you guys are gonna have to roll to see who wins this engagement. There's no way you can just like back out unless you use if you use your action to fend off the zombie, just essentially be in defensive mode, then you can get past it without being hit. However, you won't have an attack afterwards.
I cannot actually. People can't take opportunity attacks on me.
It doesn't matter. You're on Thunky.
Then I would.
People can't take opportunity attacks on me.
Sorry, I didn't realize there was still one right in front of us. I'm gonna use all 3 attacks. Wait, sorry. Did you say I have a bonus action, or I only have my action?
I say your bonus action was to get on Thunky.
Okay. Then yeah, I'm gonna take my scythe. I'll jump off Thunky, and as I'm coming down towards the giant zombie, I'd like to spin my scythe to cut it twice down the middle.
Okay. Go ahead and roll to attack. Wow, you're
Sorry, 23.
lucky it rolled a 19. Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll damage. And add 10.
23.
These are all 3 attacks? Or all 2 attacks?
20. No, 15.
To hit?
Oh, that's right. 18.
Hits. Yeah.
I don't care. Just pick some.
23.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So 46 damage.
Yeah. Okay, just frickin' as Thunky is taking off and spiraling into the air, you just, with the centrifugal motion of Thunky spinning around, you're just swinging the scythe around again, just going up its torso, one after the other slice. It's looking rough, like it's withering and bits of it are falling off. And as you are sort of slightly discouraged that it's still standing, a giant furry arm just decapitates it, like rushes through and grabs the one next to it and slams it down onto the ground. And Penky goes, "Ground now!" As he's signaling that he'll take care of these two.
Pinky's crazy.
Oh dear God!
Can the name
Let's
of this
go.
episode be Pankin Jaeger?
What? Penkin Jaeger?
Pankin Jaeger.
Penkin Jaeger. No, it's Penky Zisu.
Pixie.
Pinky Zisu. Okay, done. The Prime Shade is going to, now that the zombies are preoccupied, the Prime Shade is going to sort of like slowly, almost like levitate back into the position that it once was in, and it's going to it's actually going to raise its finger at you, Varkir, and the same sort of curdling, black, bubbling energy forms at it. And go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
Getting rid of this one. This one doesn't roll very well. 4.
4. It's okay. It rolled super low also, so maybe it'll be okay. You take 16 points of necrotic damage.
Now, what's that half?
8. 8 points of necrotic damage. As this beam flies past you and slams into your shoulder and melts some of the wings on your dragon flyer. And yeah, your movement is now at 200 on the dragon flyer. Doesn't matter now; you're already in its face. But that is its turn. And next up, Penky already went, is players again.
I think he has to go. Maybe.
Okay, we can take a short break because we tend to our doggy. Okay, you guys are up. What are you doing?
Oh, it's our turn again?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be. I'm gonna shoot some of the handle off. right at the prime shade. Yep, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
It rolls. DC save 15.
It makes it.
It makes it. So it takes 3d6 plus 1d4. We'll do the d4.
Almost like Venom.
6.
This.
12, 16, 20. Yeah, 20. So it takes 10 points of lightning damage.
10 points. Yeah, almost like Venom, the connection points of your lightning spilling from the hilt of the Red Tempest is just being intercepted by this like black goo that's throwing itself in the way and getting destroyed. But some tendrils of electric energy make it through and connect to the Prime Shade. Bobby is like at your will, so whatever you want to do.
I just whisper like, Bobby, do you have any more constellations? What do you have in your arsenal?
I'm afraid I've used up all I've got.
Pathetic.
I've got my longbow.
Fire a shot. I'll maneuver and I'll take control.
You see his arms retract from the
yeah,
controls.
I'm gonna do the same thing he did to me.
And you hear
Just
this.
really.
No, he's on the back. He's been controlling from
What?
behind you the whole time. Yeah.
What a monster.
Yeah. Okay. Natural one. You actually
Great.
and the string from his bow just like snaps. And he goes like, I've got some bad news,
Bobby.
I'll take control of the flyer. You do all the attacking.
Yeah, I got it, Bobby. Good job. Thank you for your attempt.
Of course, I'm just too strong, you know. You've seen it.
Nope.
All right. You guys, what's up?
Use my bonus action to do second win on myself.
Okay. Second window.
It's the D10. Oh, 10, yay. What is that? 1. What is that?
What you got there?
Is it 0, 10, or 0, 1?
A 0 is 10.
Okay, so I got
Well done.
no, that didn't give me much. But whatever, it's enough. I guess from there I am going to...
Think about what you guys are gonna do.
I can use my Radiant Soul on myself. So, yeah. And that counts as a full action, just activating it.
Is Radiant Soul turning it, like, bringing out the wings?
The wings with the 10 additional damage. Or
Okay.
Radiant damage. So, yeah, I'll do that and I'll just keep flying, like...
Are you leaving the glider? Or you're still...
I'm still on the glider,
Okay.
it's just you see wings come out of the top of it, like...
Okay, yeah. Feeling the air sort of cascade across your newly formed wings, taking up or holding position around it, just flying ahead. Crow, Funky.
I'm gonna press the red button and
There's
self-destruct.
You're on
Funky.
Funky.
Just kidding.
There's a red button.
Just insert your fist into her brain.
No,
Self-destruct.
I would like to launch myself forward. I think maybe this looks like, I don't know, maybe like I jump back
Onto the tail.
onto the
just, like,
tail and
whips
then, yeah.
you. Okay.
Oh.
And then I would like to, when we're in range of the Prime Shade.
Okay.
And then I'd like to unleash 3 attacks. Just 2 attacks. And then use 1 key point to ready a dodge.
Okay. Funky, roll a dexterity check at advantage.
Yes. 21.
Awesome. Okay, so Crow, you whisper your plan into the giant ears of the Unagath, and the head nods down, and you sort of like let go and let your feet take purchase as you slide down the back of Thunky across down the tail as Thunky rears it up and slaps her tail in the direction of or whips her tail in the direction of the Prime Shade as you almost in this like perfectly straight line, like like shaking, holding your scythe, like some heat forms at the on the blade of the scythe and sort of like singes your already singed wooden form. Go ahead and roll an attack at advantage and add 15 to it.
Nice. Can I say I look like the Disney robot?
Which one?
The
Wally?
one that does the acrobats in the air, the real life one.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
I showed. Anyway.
Yeah, we definitely should.
Oh, that just lands?
Yeah, the really epic one that does like somersaults.
27.
Definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
That's for one attack.
Your only one attack will get the plus 15.
Okay. The other one is 30.
Oh my god.
Damage?
I rolled a 19. No, it's
Oh, both hit.
30.
Not
26
to
for the
hit.
first attack.
26.
Is there plus anything for the second attack? Is it just plus 10 or no?
Be probably your dexterity.
Okay, so 26 for the first attack and 13 for the second attack.
Nice.
And then yeah, I'd like to spend that key point to prepare a dodge.
Okay. As you sort of like fly through, you actually insert into the necrotic muck of its of its sternum, and everybody else just sees these sort of like like straight flash lines cross a large portion of the torso of this thing as Crow exits out of the other side, and you see just this explosion from the cross of the streaks, just
guts explosion.
Yeah, guts explosion.
Yeah, like
as
it a lot.
as the Prime Shade just starts to hiss. It's looking slightly rough. Like it's looking, especially without its garments, this sort of like naked, bruised black form of this Prime Shade priest. And its turn is up. It's going to just reach out its free hand towards you, Varkir, and try and grab you. I already rolled. Got a natural 18. So what's your armor class?
16.
Actually, roll a dexterity check.
Hey, dexterity check.
Or saving throw.
Nice.
So I'm gonna add my
Dexterity.
no, not dexterity. I'm gonna add what's it called?
It rolled a natural
Arcane
18,
deflection. So that's still a 17.
yeah.
Sassadice?
Hmm?
Sassadice?
You just feel your
Gonna die.
you hear the of your dragonfly get crumpled in its grasp, and your wings are also caught in its fist as well, as it brings you with its left hand close towards its face. In this again, this jaw just sort of like unhinges and lowers and just sort of like breathes this hatred inside of you, and you hear through this sort of like force of both the wind and necrotic saliva slapping and ripping into your flesh, this sort of like whisper in your mind of like, how are you still alive?
Oh gosh.
And you take
What's up, man?
What's up, bitch? No. She just
8,
walks out.
8,
Like,
16.
What's up? Nothing happened.
6, 21, 22 points of bludgeoning damage.
That's a wait, just bludgeoning?
Yeah,
Oh,
of
okay,
bludgeoning
well,
damage.
yeah.
It's
Well,
not.
I'm
It
dead.
just grabbed you and roll a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, get down.
11.
No, yeah.
We're trying to train him not to climb on furniture. Please don't get me.
This is like her active hour. What the Midna? Slow your roll.
11. But I'm dead anyways.
You're dead. The 22 killed you.
Yes.
Or the 22 got you.
Hmm?
Oh, okay. It doesn't even matter. You are immediately taken from being in the grasp of this giant creature to just endless repeating wounds, endless repeating like into your flesh, knives and swords and scythes and arrows and spears, just endlessly like pushing you from one side to the next. One spear in you, another spear in you. This is just it's like you're floating in darkness and your body is being pushed along by all of these stab wounds, and it's like this infinite sum of
can I add anything? Can I add that +2?
yeah, the +2 you always add, but it's not gonna help.
Sassadice.
Unless
You can. What's your health at, Thunky?
it's decent.
Just gonna pre-roll damage right now.
No, you don't have to. Yeah!
Nice.
It's a 19. So
Still
it's
doesn't
over
get it.
20.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's right.
Um.
I'm sorry, getting it.
Okay, you successfully you see Varkir's currently unconscious body fly towards you in the fist of the prime shade as it just tries to punch you out of the air with your companion in its grasp. And you spin, sort of like juke it one way, juke down another way, and fly underneath its leg and spin up along the side, just like skirting along the length of its leg, as you see Crow just hanging there on his scythe as he just sort of like lets go with his feet, rips his scythe out, and sort of like hops on you and grabs as you continue into the air.
Cool. When I get to the top, I'm gonna do that thing again.
Like some of you might, you know what? Go ahead and roll again at advantage.
An
Performance
intimidation?
check.
Well, hold on.
Performance.
God,
Oh,
those dice are so
boy.
fucking. I love them.
A 9.
At advantage.
Oh. 17.
Oh, okay. It was gonna be that.
No.
But it's a little bit more respectful. You can this
little
time
bit
around.
more.
You
I'll
can,
find that clip for you.
Yeah. Yeah, but you see Thunky spin up in the air, and actually it almost empowers you all to see such a confident beast on your side in the face of such
Which
a large.
gives me advantage for what I'm about
We all
to
get
do.
Sassadice.
We'll see. Go ahead and
Oh.
whatever you're gonna.
How's the prime shade looking?
It's looking like if it was a conscious mind that was holding its form together, it's almost like you can see some bits of it just like melting and falling off, and like a bone just slowly slip out of the ooze and fall down. But it doesn't look like it's actually currently it looks like it's on top of the world with Varkir in its hands. You see it sort of like lift its mouth up into the air and just go.
All right, I guess I'll zap it again.
I'll zap it again.
I had something epic in mind, but since it's looking the way it does, I'm gonna.
I will say that Varkir is unconscious, and there's nobody else that in this span of time can do anything for him. So that's all I'm gonna put out there. It could be a
Infinite's
matter
hand?
of life and death.
I'm pretty much dead anyway. So
Yeah.
No, you're not. Because
I'm dead.
now I'm gonna do the epic thing. I'm gonna go. Bobby, bring me in close. And I'm gonna just, as soon as we're close, I'm gonna leap in. And I'm gonna take the Starlight Conqueror and I'm going for the hand. I'm going for the arm. I'm gonna try to chop it off.
Okay. All right, Hurchek, I got you. Hold on. And then he sort of like.
And I'm gonna
arcs
rage
up.
in midair. I'm gonna rage mid like, "Ah, fuck yeah!"
Almost to synchronize with the screeching, the billowing screech of Thunky, Hurchek's deep, bassy diaphragm diaper frame joins
Thanks.
in the
Really
joins in the
making
mix.
my character look good.
Bobby is diving down now. The wings of the dragonfly have sort of compacted in close to the frame of it, and it's just diving down. Go ahead and roll. At advantage because Bobby is controlling, so he can sort of like, as the arm is coming back, Bobby is sort of like weaving in and out of it. You rolled a 2 and a 4. What are you at? Remember, you had 2, but you also had your strength, your proficiency. You have to beat a 14. Oh, hold on. It is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not fucking with you.
It's 17.
Rolled an 8.
It's not.
Okay.
I'm making it
There
more
you go.
epic. Yeah, 17 plus a fuck ton.
Okay, you for an instant you see X's on Varkir's eyes, like a cartoon, like he's dead, and your heart stops, and you say, "No, that can't be. I can save him!" And you pull out the Starlight Conqueror and leap from the Dragonflyer,
The storm
the mass
bursting off
the mass
of me.
of Hurchek is almost comparable to the frame of the Dragonflyer itself, and you push Bobby like down as Bobby has to sort of like correct himself from the power of your feet shooting off of this thing. And you go ahead and roll your damage as...
Oh yeah, it's like some random damage for a Starlight Conjurer.
Because it's got to be high. Remember, this is like... Its wrist is maybe like a 15, 20-foot diameter.
8, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19,
Actually,
20,
I'm sorry, roll an
22,
intelligence check.
24...
You add anything to that? It's a pretty high modifier for intelligence, right? Okay. And add 10, remember, because you're using the velocity of flying from the Dragonflyer.
Uh, 34.
34. Okay, you flying, feeling the cold cavern air pass your skin as you are skirting through the sky at breakneck speeds. You throw your sword in front of you just as you get close enough to its wrist, and you hear the sickening slap of your sword into its fleshy meat as you're just like sliding down, and you get to the point where the momentum slows right at you as you're at the very end, and you use your strength again, the sort of like electric energy shooting from your eyes, using the last of the electric pulse from your storm. Are you using it?
Yeah.
No, you can't because
no,
you're
no.
raging.
No, I'm using the storm that's in me.
Of course, yes. You use the last of it to strike through, and remember, you're like at least 50 feet in the air.
That's worth it if I get Varkir out of
the hand, the wrist doesn't sever entirely. There's a sliver of it still left, but the power, it can't control its motor functions in the hand anymore. And Varkir, you sort of see the fingers sort of uncurl, and Varkir is just hanging on them right now as you are flying back, or are falling down to the ground, and you take
superhero fall. Superhero. I'm raging.
$36 points of bludgeoning damage, reduced, to 18.
Sweet.
2-point landing as Starlight Conqueror is in your is held by both of your hands, and your quads are just veiny and just like pulsing out as this again the brittleness of these ruins. The wave of you landing onto the ground just decimates a good like 10 feet around you as smoke just billows outwards. But yeah, you're fucking hurting from that one. Okay, the prime shade. No, you already. This is the round that was a long round. This is the round that you failed. Because I asked you to roll in the beginning. When he was doing his thing. Yeah. Because he was like, oh, I'm not done. Okay, the prime.
I'm so curious if I'm gonna murder this female barbarian when we get back to the ship.
What? Why?
It's been like forever. She hasn't done anything.
She's a mile away on foot. You
Run a
see
mile in, like, 3 minutes.
like small smoke plumes getting closer and closer now that you're looking, I guess. As you can imagine, she might be barreling through the ruins. The Prime Shade looks at its severed hand and Varkir inside.
Is Bobby good to go?
And it looks, Bobby controlled you. That's why you got advantage.
Okay.
Essentially, you can sacrifice Bobby's turn to get advantage on your attacks.
He didn't need to.
And he looks down at you, Herchek, and he's just going to open up his mouth and just spill this waterfall of.
That was one.
Oh, okay, go for it. I guess we'll retroactive. Nope, you need to learn. You need to remember your stuff.
Dang.
You can like turn around and throw something or something after you've landed, but the time has passed.
I mean, you just continued
It's
without me.
this waterfall of necrotic liquid falls down on top of you. Roll a dexterity saving throw at advantage because you have naturally advantage.
Natural 20.
You still sort of like
I fucking Goku out of there.
compacted and in your sort of like compacted state, you push yourself out just in time enough for the waterfall just and fill up the ground around you, just like melting everything in your vicinity, and it reaches all the way up to your toes.
And that's when I jump back and I attack him a second time.
You
Perfectly.
You
At reckless. Natural 20. Did it. I did it, son.
Go for it. Yeah, sure.
Very forced.
It needed to be.
I'll say at this moment you can see sort of like the prime shade falling apart, and you can, Thunky, you hear it say like Vihasu over and over again in its head, almost in like a victorious manner, as it's like it sees the, for most intents and purposes, deceased form of Varkir in its hands.
14.
14?
Double 28.
28. Okay. Is anybody else doing anything?
Wait, this is the player's turn?
But also he or they roll.
Yeah, whatever.
Didn't beat a natural 20, unfortunately, so it would have been great. Huh?
Would it have been?
It would have. It would have been awesome. Roll a saving throw.
Oh, God. Stop rolling that one, Remy!
Yeah. All right, it's your guys' turn. Herchek is billows out this secondary shout as he jumps forward with his sword. You guys have one
change
moment
back.
of time to get out one last action before potentially it's... You know what, let's just make... We'll see. It has 44 points left.
Oh, my God.
44 points left.
Pinky!
Oh, shit! I actually did forget about Pinky that time. In the previous turn, before then, you see let's just see. Okay, so they rolled the same thing.
Shit.
You hear this like sort of like crack come from this large crack, like it came from a giant creature, come from Penky's direction, and you hear this as this stalactite that's been broken from the ceiling of this cavern flies towards the Prime Shade, and the Prime Shade just smacks it out of the air as arcing pebbles and dust fall down. And Penky goes, "I'm coming!" and is now walking his way over towards you all. And now it's his and your all turns again. But you already failed.
So, yeah, wouldn't I have fallen off if you're doing this crazy thing?
He uses his other arm for that, but it's... Let's roll like a fate dice to see if you fall. If
If
get
it's our turn and he falls, I'm going to catch him
you rolled a natural
Well,
20 to attack.
for my second attack.
I also have a plan to catch him or to pick him up.
Okay, roll. Actually, I'll roll. We'll use this one. Do it in front of everybody.
Oh, God.
Here, you see his body like slide to the edge of the fingers, and then the top of his form slide in between the like index finger and the middle finger. And again, you get the sensation that this thing is almost like drunk on something at this point. I'm not sure Thunky has any healing left. Do you? Now it is, you failed, you are attacking, you cannot do anything else because you rolled, you were eager about it, that is your attack. You rolled a natural 20. If you attack, you can't do anything outside of that.
So we're going to attack again?
Yeah, you can attack again.
Okay. I'm attacking
What are you
again.
guys doing?
I am dropping.
lot.
Wait, what'd you get with your natural 20?
I got 28. It's 14, crit, double, 28.
Okay.
I'm dropping Crow off at the Prime Shade's face.
Okay.
I don't really know. I think she is flying upwards to that caw thing,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna do like a fly past overhead, and then I'm gonna try and drop in near or around its face.
Okay, roll an acrobatics check, and you still have your action. This is technically just your movement.
And then I would also, in that same movement, try to pick up Varkir in my talons.
Okay.
And then fly off down
That will
to
be
the
your action.
What? That's fine. Fly off to the ground somewhere, like
Okay.
away from the Prime Shade. And then, as a bonus action, transform back into Thunky.
Okay. Yeah, all of that is done. Action done. Movement done. Bonus action done. What'd you get for your acrobatics check?
17.
17. Okay, yeah, you skirt across the. Your feet actually sink into the flesh on its face and find only minimal purchase as it's like thigh deep in this necrotic flesh that comprises its entire body. And you don't even find like firm purchase. It's just like you trying to stay on top of it. And you were like, right. You feel the wind wave down across you as it blinks. As it's the necrotic flesh of its eye slaps down and sends this wave of air cascading down its cheek. And it is weird to feel the force of just a simple blink. But you do. So yeah, you're about I would say 30 feet away from its eye, and you're at half movement. So
This is difficult terrain.
it is difficult terrain.
Difficult terrain does not affect me.
Okay.
Boom.
So your feet sink in, and you just simply take your hands and jump on top. You're like your feet. I will say arc out or split out and form sort of like snowshoes and like webbed feet.
Yeah, I would like to I'd like to do 2 attacks with my what do I call it? Fuck it. Scythe, and then do an unarmed strike.
Okay, go ahead. Roll to attack. What's your second damage?
Oh, I rolled a natural 18 to hit.
Yeah, of course it is.
29 and 22.
2 hit? Yeah, go ahead and roll damage.
When here's for that unarmed strike.
Get back here.
19.
19 damage?
Yeah. And that was my first attack? For this
No,
new turn?
that was your second attack. Because you did 26 or 24 or whatever
28.
it was. 28.
You're right.
And it's 19 for the second attack?
Yeah.
Okay, 19. Okay.
Spencer, come on.
Come on! You need 15 more points of damage.
Oh yeah. Total I've done. So I rolled a 29, 22, and 23
Yeah.
for scythe, unarmed strike, and then I got a 20 for the 2 scythe attacks and a 9.
Yeah! What are you doing to where are you attacking? Actually, fuck it. How do you guys want to do this?
I'm chomping off its legs.
Oh wow. I would like to.
No. This is their second time. This is not the third time. This is the second round where you've had to roll because you rolled at the beginning. Remember that.
Yeah, when it comes our turn again, I roll again.
No,
It's
it's not your turn again. This is how you want to do this. Within that turn that we just did, they have defeated the Prime Shade.
Because right after this, it won't be
Because
turns,
you all did your
and
turn,
then I'll
I
just
failed
heal
the
you.
second time, then he went, then now it's a third time of turns, isn't it?
No, it's not. Trust me. I could be very likely wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong for this one because I had you roll at the beginning of each turn.
No, we're not
The
on
beginning of
third.
this one, you failed. We have not gone on to a second or onto a third round where you have been doing saving throws. But if you want to give up, if you want Varkir to his life energy to leave him, then that's totally fine. All right. How do you guys want to do this?
Legs.
Oof. Okay. So I don't know. You said you're slicing.
Yeah, I'm like chomping off. Like, since he's so massive, I'll probably just get one leg. So he's like, oh.
Boy.
I'm on the ground right now, so can't really.
Yeah,
do
I'm gonna
much.
climb his face and stick my axe
Oh my
into his
God.
like upper eyebrow.
Yeah.
Wedge it in there, and then basically like jump up while holding onto it, and then try and come swinging down into his eye,
Okay.
and then
Burst through
I'm
its
getting
head.
basically just
I'm picturing
Punch-
Kratos.
Okay,
here.
so,
I'm feeling like
straight
God
into
of
her
his
War.
check.
forehead.
You take your blade, and remember, it's a point of damage in its necrotic sort
That's
of
fine.
like. So you have to wade through 15 feet of necrotic damage or energy as you're just sort of like getting towards its ankle. You take one mighty slash, just running, continuing, carving it through, turning around, jumping, and then like Achilles stabbing the wound that you just caused, ripping it out, and as the trail of your blade leaves, the lightning follows it and solidifies the necrotic energy and cracks it. At this exact moment, you have ran up, jumped up on, like over its large blue orb of an eye, inserted your scythe into the top of its brow. It falls backwards. You use that to jump up. Your body goes up super high while still holding onto your scythe, and then it slams into the ground, and the momentum, the force of its body falling and impacting the ground sends you just like trailing through its eye. Your scythe rips through its eyebrow, severing the entire line between its eyebrow, eyelid, and inside of its eye, and you are just in sort of necrotic mush at this point. But how much health do you have left, Crow? Because you are inside of a necrotic creature.
Hardy, 2 points.
Yes. You are unconscious. As your scythe, it's like a bullet that, if you were to see like the X-ray, sort of you're flying like vertically down into its brain as it slammed into the ground, and your like feet exit out the back of its head, but the rest of your body is still inside, and you can sort of feel like the ground beneath. But then the blackness becomes true blackness, and you become unconscious. And Thunky, you are with Varkir. Herchek, you saw this creature
And I
fall
saw
into the ground.
Crow just go inside of it.
Yeah.
I'm sprinting to like Crow!
This is 150 feet, so it's gonna take you at least 3.
Can you grab
I have
that?
Like
40 plus dash.
So 80, so 2 turns. So he still has to make 2 saving throws.
That's okay.
Crow, go ahead and make 2 saving throws.
I'm casting. Wait, is this not?
You can cast Cure Wounds if you want.
Yeah, I'm casting Cure Wounds on Varkir.
Okay. What'd you roll? 2.
I'm ripping Crow out of the fucking head.
It's a 2 and an 8. Okay, Varkir, as you are still just through this infinite amount of cold, icy space.
Varkir would pretty much change after that because it's more than 50% of his health is now necrotic.
Well, that's after it becomes. It's not permanent. You just have to take a rest.
Yeah, but
What is going on?
that's
with
what I'm
this?
saying. Like necrotic,
Old Varkir?
necrotic would definitely change if he was overflowing. If he was flooded with.
I'm not
Necrotic.
done with. What is going on?
It's an iPad. Congratulations. Welcome to Apple.
Troubleshooting master over here. God dang it. Yeah, load up 117 pages, you piece of technology trash.
Yeah, I'm confused. 117 pages.
Sorry, when in Google Docs, it's not like here's everything. It's like, oh, here's the first 10 pages, and then oh, hey, here's the
You have
next 20. and then
117 pages worth of us.
of this campaign, and then I have ancillary documents of like angels and deities and things like that. But yeah, Varkir, as you are spinning through this void of cold pain, and you come to, and you see this giant familiar creature, its life leave it. The 2 eyes, one ruined, are what stay where they were, or in their position as the necrotic flesh is just melting away and dissipating back into the land. And there is the same sort of necrotic gem, the necrotic crystal left behind, where if you remember, the choice that you had to make was leave the gem to sort of like for the land to reclaim its properties, or pretty much use it to do what you want and sacrifice the land is the option that you have now. But as you're watching this creature wilt away, your consciousness, your pretty much your sense of your own stimuli and experience shift into the form of another being. And it's a very peculiar sensation for you. It's Valden is who you are assuming the role of right now, in his priestly garments, and he's walking with you and talking with you in the ice gardens of the Invictari, essentially palace grounds. He's pleading with you, but you look resolved, a man of faith, to one of resolve. You both always saw things very differently. Valden walks away. You walk away, and the vision becomes blurry, filled with tears of his. and you can feel his soul well up with sadness and hatred at the same time. Rage. Now it transitions to him in the Invictari Temple. You never liked that place. Working tirelessly, mixing dark materials, lighting candles, meticulously etching out runes in palace crystals, or in placing crystals. And he pulls out a blade, and in his hands he says, "Our actions must not be perceived." Then begins to chant words of magic, and your vision goes black again. His alien words of the chant turn to familiar words of another chant. "If ever has a soul doth pass," the toast. Valden now rises, the final step to the highest parapet of Arturo's ascent. Though this is not your body, you feel your heart pound in vivid horror. This scene, this moment. A knife rises from a cloak as Valden walks towards many hooded figures who part for him, revealing you hunched over. Marcius pulls his spear from your back. Valden finishes his line from the toast. His knife sinks into your flesh, into your oblique, from behind. His vision blurring once more with tears as he meets your betrayed and outraged gaze. The next line of the toast starts from a voice you know to be Finnelis. Again, you can't quite piece together all of these personalities and characters in perfect clarity just yet. You just know that you once knew them in another life. And the next line of the toast starts, and a blade slides free from its sheath and falls sharply into your flesh. You remember the pain, you remember falling, and the sensation of clammy hands pulling you at the base of the abyss. What was once Barathor's reach, the scene shifts again, stares at you, a devastated landscape of spiraling crystal craters and entirely shattered mountain ranges, and no sign of the Aasimar civilization that once guarded it. Valden turns and joins a group of refugees solemnly walking with what they can. He runs and helps the little girl get back up to her feet and whispers words of comfort and pats her on the head and looks forward to see the silver-armored form of King Orenbelle leading them away. And the vision fades, and you hear Valden's voice pretty much whisper, "I'm sorry. This will help." And the ring is now on your finger. The ring that you all had before, but you lost yours. And that's where we'll leave off. Are there any last minute things you guys want to take care of? Oh, wait.
Yeah.
You.
I'm
Sorry, I got
I'm
consumed.
pulling him out.
Maybe just something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
just a
you
teeny little bit.
You feel your sort of like large hands grab around your ankles and pull you from the deteriorating necrotic brain matter of Valden, and
I'm just gonna like pull him out and go, "Piggy! Help crew!"
I'm casting healing word on him.
he's too far away.
He is?
Yeah,
How far away?
you can try and make a medicine check.
Wait, how far is he?
He's about 150 feet away from you.
Can I run to him?
You healed Varkir.
Yes.
And I'll say actually make an intelligence check, because who's to say that you even knew what state Crow is in? There's almost this like synchronized last effort
It's
between
okay.
Crow and
I have a potion of healing.
I don't know how that's gonna work on a Warforged, but I guess it does. So.
Pour some in his mouth, and then if there's any spillage on his face,
He looks horrifying, by the way. Like
that's
his
seen worse.
wooden texture and sort of like nice, sleek frame and dark sort of like burgundy brown flesh or skin, sorry, wooden skin, is all just like black and crumbled and deteriorated, and yeah, he looks bad. You wouldn't want to walk with him on the streets of Orenbelle.
But I gave him the potion.
And magically, some of that brown starts to sort of pierce through the blackness.
8 points of healing. You can't breathe. You're just making that sound.
To be dramatic.
I've seen this in plays.
That's the sound of my valves opening. Thank you. God, it was so dark.
Yeah, Penke's form sort of shrinks and he runs over, like he's still running, and his form is just getting smaller and smaller and smaller before he gets back to his normal form. Is just like sort of like running on all forms up around all of the buildings and making it back to Varkir and Thunky. Are there any last minute things that people want to take care of now as Bobby also lands down towards Herchek and Crow, and he goes, well, look at over there, reinforcements are coming, and you can see the sort of like spill of winged creatures coming from the moonlit entrance of the cavern a mile back, and they're all just like shouting like ah! I'm about to join in the fight.
Roar angrily at them like the mightiest.
Technically, it really only took like less than 2 minutes.
It's fine. I angrily roar it.
And it echoes throughout the majority of these caverns. And yeah, Bobby goes, does this mean I get a tattoo too?
No, you're not a part of Oren's Obliterate. You have to be a part of the group.
But
You're outside of it.
No, but I helped take down the prime shade.
I mean, you can get.
I was the first.
You
to
can
the
get a
fray.
tattoo, but it can't match ours.
Your bow, bro.
Come on now.
My gods, I need to check on them. And he hops on the dragonfly and he flies away and he says, "Look forward to getting that tattoo."
I say we let him do it.
And remember the orbs from the Elkos Prime Shade were like, softball in size. These are like house sized. One is just entirely caved in and like cracked and already split down the side, and some of the blue energy is leaving it, and the other is perfectly pristine and in landing or in still just sitting there. And then again, there's just this like, don't touch it, it's pure evil crystal in the brain matter that had melted away, that is kind of sliced in half from you, Crow, but it is still there, and you can see the sort of energy sort of jumping from it and joining the land still, but you can still decide to sort of use the massive amount of culminated energy to do literally whatever your imagination can come up with. So
I'm brushing Pinky's back.
We
did it, Varkia. We did it. How many more to go? Do you remember anything?
That would have to be the other Varkir in order to know that. That's what. Yeah, the fallen Varkir knows all this stuff. The other one doesn't really know.
And are you the fallen now?
That's what.
The Fallen, I thought, remembered everything after his fall.
Yeah. So he remembers the betrayal, but doesn't remember like the battle and everything. But the other guy remembers the battle, but not the betrayal.
Yeah. So you imagine that whatever happened to this previous form of Orenbelle, he was caught up inside and sort of being a stronger entity, ended up being consumed. His soul just like wandering around collecting the souls of the necrotic dead from the previous assault on Orenbelle from the angels. And he turned into a prime shade. But you also got a sense of guilt from him from doing what he did to you. Like, he never really wanted to do it, but he thought that it was genuinely the right thing to do. Fuck him. Yes, we'll kill them all. don't we, Vakir?
Yes. We will. I'm not sure which one I am right now, so I don't know.
If you want to roll, you can go ahead and roll a wisdom saving throw. As like this, the time you've spent in the black void.
10.
Oh, okay. Well, it's lower, so I don't know.
It's
I forget what it was. Was it lower or higher? No.
I think higher means valiant Varkir. Lower means fallen.
In between right
Then
now?
he changes that. Well, that is in between. What the? I mean, do I roll again? So this 10 is exactly
You're
half
half and
10?
half.
Well,
No,
I
if you
mean,
roll a 10 on a saving throw, it's in like a life-death saving throw. You fail.
No, 'cause I guess he's fallen.
Wait,
So if he's fallen, then I guess he would kind of
Doesn't
like
work as
shove himself up and be like, Valden,
doesn't work
pathetic priest that he was. I never had too many problems with him until the end.
doesn't work like an AC. Like if you make the AC, you still make it. So it works like a saving throw. So if he hits 10, he makes the saving throw. Because you don't fail on a 10 for a death saving throw.
Whatever, we'll just say he failed.
So there you go. You got a coin flip. There
Okay,
you
cool.
Hang
go.
on, do this one. Bin.
that heavier one.
Yeah, exactly. Heads, tails.
Which one's what?
Tails is fallen. Heads is valiant.
Tails, heads.
Yeah.
Heads.
Heads is fallen.
Oh, okay.
Welcome,
I guess we're
Fallen Markir,
right?
my
So, yeah,
best
he-
friend.
he
Wait,
says-
wait. Is that that's what I said, right?
We'll look back at the clip.
God damn it.
We'll look back at the video.
Yeah, we'll figure this out next time.
He'll do the whole. Like,
You're gonna have to do another intro.
I'm
Well, he already has a monologue. I already wrote a monologue for him.
okay. These orbs of power stand in front of you, and these shards of necrotic energy as well. It is up to you to decide what you do with these. The responsibility is in your hands. Do you leave it? Do you relinquish it to the government of Orenbelle? Do you keep it for your own needs? Do you attempt to use this energy to potentially power Balakin? Can it even work that way? You all.
I agree. I think that we should take this and
don't need
at
to-
least study it.
You don't need to
Eventually, it
reject
should
anything
come
else.
back here.
We put it in the ship.
Maybe we could learn from this type
Valden was a
of.
petty priest anyway. Let us take all of his energy and use it for ourselves.
I agree with Varkir.
That's
He
great,
used
but
to know this Prime Shade. He was not, well, better than
I
me right
eat
now,
the
but
orb.
still.
it's impossible. Let's see if we can learn from these material. Maybe
You also feel like multiple different souls inside of it. It wasn't
Definitely.
just Valden's soul or energy. It was he literally all of the husks of people, the silhouettes of the remnants of the once denizens of this place are their life energy has been consumed by this prime shade.
yes. I say we take this back, we study it, see if there is anything that we may use from it without tarnishing these souls, and then return it to its rightful place.
My body.
Let these souls rest in peace.
In my body.
Return it to the land.
Yeah, but as he's doing this, he's pretty much taking off all of the stuff that he was wearing, like, just putting all this
Yeah, like,
nicey stuff away. Like I don't
Look
what
at
is
the-
this? What is
the
this
blade
crap?
and you
Hey,
go, what have I
Varkir,
done?
what's going on with you?
Put that away. I'm like, what is this bag on my hip? There's my mace. Pulls out that crappy, like crazy mace and all the other stuff that's evil.
To have you back,
The bag of
Vakir.
radiating, menacing things. He puts that on. It's like, yeah, good
Wait.
to be back, Frankie.
Varkir!
Oh, hello. What was I? Oh, I can see I had all this goody two shoes things on. You still
What
got to see
happened-
a very bad side of me.
what
a
happens
very
to your
bad side of
bird?
me. Just never liked that bird, anyways. Yes.
Alright.
All right, and next time you guys will be level 11. Lev Levin.
Woo!
All
And
right.
I'll have another tattoo.
Thank you for watching, SASANs. I hope that
Getting
you
tatted
were
up.
entertained. Remember, to win, to have a chance to win, which is a pretty high chance
Really
these
high.
days.
Super
Almost
high.
100%. All you got to do is like, subscribe if you haven't already, share, and leave us some valuable feedback in the comment section below. As always, until fate next brings us together, and never stop playing role-playing games.